Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche, day one of the NHL Draft 2024. We're live here from Circa Resorts and Casinos in Las Vegas. Megan and Eric and our boy RG taking it, locking it down at the Sphere, at the draft. We're broadcasting the whole thing, and we're going to talk a bunch of nonsense about prospects all night long. So, it should be a fun one. I always look forward to our draft shows. I'm not going to lie, AJ.
Yeah, it's a little different this year. No suits. No looking like the Blues Brothers.
Look, I stepped outside in Vegas today and said, "Yeah, suit's not gonna happen in this one, man."
This is my Vegas suit.
Even this might be a little heavy, to be honest, for today.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a decent enough climate in here.
It's not bad in here.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. It's okay in here.
It's fun.
We'll see, though. This draft, if we're being honest, it really begins at number 2. There's no secrets about who's about to get picked first overall in 15 minutes here.
I don't think it's a secret. I was just, so the CHGO guys are right next to us.
Yep.
I was just chatting with them right before we started, and they're pretty confident that this is Levshinov. So the draft starts at 3.
Power to them for doing that. Not that I don't like Levshinov, but, we can talk about it a little bit later. It's as locked in as those top couple of picks seem, even by the time you hit, 10, this draft could explode in a billion different directions.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the Canadiens are always the epicenter of this shit every year.
Yeah, not wrong.
Because remember last year it was like, oh, the Canadiens might try and use their 5th to get Askarov and whatever. And this year it's like, oh, the 5th pick is very much in play. And it's like they're going to sit tight, take Ivan Demidov, and everybody's going to be like, oh, it's a pretty good pick.
Well, they really let Demidov go to 5. Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, after the Reinbacher thing last year, the Habs are owed a pretty good pick.
Fair enough.
This is going across my body awkwardly. Let's do that.
Yeah, you got to fix that. You got to get comfy. We're going to be here for a while. So.
Yeah. We're going to have some on-air wandering.
Yeah, people are going to be getting up. It's going to be an adventure out here today.
Rudo has the world's tiniest bladder, so he's going to have to make bathroom runs.
At least 3.
I have a knee that is slowly calcifying into a rock of its own, so I got to stretch it out a little.
You got to keep that thing loose.
Exactly.
Do we have the videos ready from earlier today? Where should we start?
At the beginning.
Oh, thanks.
This is why they pay me, man.
Thanks, Purd.
That was a little startling. If only for the volume.
We usually don't hear all of the sound effects that get played on our shows.
Yeah, this is very different. Oh, hey.
Yep,
we've got baseball.
Look at that.
This is awesome.
It's a good day. Let's start here because we know Macklin Celebrini going first. We had the opportunity to talk to his head coach over at BU and Jay Pandolfo about not only Macklin but some of that college program. So let's hear from him. BU.
Do you want to bring it in?
Sure. We're here in Vegas for the NHL draft, and we're joined by Jay Pandolfo, the head coach of BU. You know what we're here to ask you. What's the one thing that makes Macklin Celebrini stand out compared to the rest of this draft class?
I just think it's his overall competitiveness, his drive to be the best. That's how he is. That's how he's wired. Every single day, he shows up at the rink trying to get better. And I think, the expectations on him to be the number 1 overall pick for probably the last couple of years, and he's risen to the occasion, and he's kind of separated himself from the pack. So it's just a credit to him and the work ethic.
When you're coaching such a premier talent like that, how do you strike a balance of wanting to honor the obvious high skill upside that's there, but also develop a player for the next level?
Yeah, he's one of the most coachable kids I've been around, so that makes it very easy when the individual is driven like that and wants to get better, wants to be coached. So it was very easy, and he's the type of kid that he's coming in looking for more, wanting more advice, wanting to figure out ways how he can get better overall. And it's been a pleasure to coach him. And I highly doubt he's coming back, but it would be a treat to have a chance to coach him one more year.
2 Frozen Four, Final Four appearances in your first 2 years coaching. What are some of the biggest lessons you've taken away from that so far?
I've enjoyed it, like coaching the NHL for a while and having the chance to come back to college and coach younger players. I've really enjoyed it, and I just trying to figure out how to win that last game is what we're trying to accomplish. It's difficult. It's not like the NHL where you get 7-game series to kind of sort things out. You get down to the Frozen Four, it's 1 game, and you got to find a way to win that. So that's our goal moving forward here. So hopefully we can get back there again next year and finish the job.
Do you think what is the significance last in-person draft, getting to be there and see a player that you've coached put on an NHL jersey for the first time?
It's awesome. And Macklin's not the only one that is going to be drafted today. We have probably 4 or 5 more guys that are coming into BU this year to play for us. So it's a special moment for these guys. Obviously having a guy go first overall is really special, and it's something I'll never forget. And whether Macklin comes back or not, we'll have a relationship for a long time. So it's great to see.
You mentioned those handful of other guys. Not sure if any of them are going to go in the first round today, but you expect a bunch of them to go Saturday. What's it like coming from the NHL yourself to coach some of these guys that's their future?
It's special, and it's great to see. And for me, trying to give these guys certain advice, because it's stressful for some of them to kind of sit there and wonder, when am I going to go? But at the end of the day, it's what you do after you get drafted. So that's the message you try to get across to them. We're obviously a special day, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you go. It's what you do after, and you come to BU, and hopefully we can develop you and get you to where you want to go.
Hopefully a handful of those guys coming back for you next year to make a run?
I hope so. That's the goal. We want them to stay as long as they're continuing to develop and get better, and we want them to go at the right time. And for us, we have these conversations all the time with these players.
Friends with the guy who might have a goalie playing for your team. Any thoughts on Max?
Yeah, he's a terrific kid. He wasn't supposed to come in until this fall, but we brought him in early because we felt like we needed help and depth at the goaltender position. So he's actually earned his way up to backup role right now, which is impressive. We thought he was going to come in this year, have to fight for third string or backup, but he's elevated himself just from coming in. He's a terrific kid, and he's going to get an opportunity to get some playing time this year.
A lot of players in this draft in college hockey. How has the landscape for college hockey changed over time?
Yeah, it just seems like every year the development path through the NCAA is it's proven that guys are stepping right from the NCAA and heading right into the NHL and having success right away. I just think it's time for younger players to continue to develop not only on the ice but off the ice. You only play 40 games. So you still have a lot of time to grow off the ice, gain strength, gain muscle, all those sort of things that you need to play at the next level. So it's just a great path, and you see more and more European players coming over to the NCAA because they see the success guys are having.
And how has your experience as a player shaped the kinds of things you want to teach your players to prepare for the next level?
It's helped. I was fortunate to play in a great organization, New Jersey. I spent most of my time. I just like all the little things you have to do on a daily basis, all the little habits that are going to help you get to that next level. That's the thing that we try to instill in our guys is just the daily habits that you have to have in if you want to play the next level and have success. So those are the biggest lessons that we try to teach our guys. And it's not only on the ice, it's a lot of stuff off the ice too. And I think our guys mature over time at BU, and we want to continue to do that. We want to continue to develop good players, and hopefully a lot of them have a lot of success.
We had. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. So, a little conversation about the top guy there and that BU program that is quite strong at the moment.
Pretty good program.
We'll see how many kids graduate out this offseason. But
they have a tip-top young goaltender in there.
They sure. I asked Jay about it.
Yeah. Earned that backup spot.
There you go. On the up and up.
Not of Macklin Celebrini's ilk quite yet, but
not quite first overall caliber.
Max, we see you.
Hey, look, if you want to get better, facing a first overall guy's shot a million times
every
a day
day
helps a little bit.
All right. Gary Bettman is doing the shtick.
Everyone boo Gary Bettman in the chat. Meanwhile, as we wait for this thing to get really started up, already come up in the Toyota chat a conversation about the Avs potentially trading up. Even without getting into specifics, and this is just me personally, in my opinion, under no circumstance should the Avs be looking to trade up.
Not off the NHL roster.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like if you wanted to move a Richie or a Guliev, whatever, I'm not going to sit here and say under no circumstance, but like something wild would have to happen. And you would have to go so far up that it's like you're losing out. There goes your 2026 first.
Sure.
And
if Ivan Demidov is there at 12, sure.
Great spot for him to be at, because if he gets to the Wild, I will give this the Adam Jecko treatment, and I will leave. Sorry, Andre. I will leave.
You got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Yep.
It's tough like that sometimes. In general, in the draft, trading up is tough.
Oh, my God. Kale, your Jokic sticker is perfect with the light.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick.
It's like a divine. It's perfect. I'm sorry. I was just distracted by the god that is Nikola Jokic. Yeah, I mean, even during the NHL draft, can't get away from the guy. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
How is a shark in Vegas? Wouldn't they die?
Look, I saw the shark movie about Paris. And that was the whole conversation was, it's fresh water. Why are they in this river? And then the sharks killed a shitload of people, and it rocked.
Yeah, but there's no water in Vegas.
What?
Good, bad movie, bad, good.
Boring movie for an hour, and then an incredible finish. An incredible finish. So you take the edible at the start of the movie, and then by the time it kicks in, you're rooting for the sharks. And you will have an unbelievably good night.
All right. Honestly, though, why did they put the first pick on the clock?
I feel this way about every draft. Okay, they're on the clock.
They already know who they're taking. Those 3 minutes they're not going to change their mind.
Do you remember when we were younger and the NFL draft had 15 minutes per pick?
I do remember, yes.
And the teams that had already announced their contract agreements with the first overall pick would wait.
Yep.
All 15 minutes, and they would always say, just in case. Just in case never came.
Not once.
And the NFL was like, this is stupid. We're not doing this anymore. Just do it.
Yeah, but the NBA's dumb.
I see.
The NBA makes trades of players that they already picked instead of trading the picks.
A guy gets drafted and he's wearing a hat, and then Woj comes on the screen and he goes, that guy's actually already been traded to 2 other teams. And then they interview the guy and they're like, what do you think about playing for this team? And he's like, what? I'm wearing a San Antonio hat and I'm playing in Indiana? What?
Oh, man.
Anyway. We're not even talking about the NHL draft because it hasn't really started.
Do we have our big board just to throw it up there just to show people? And while we throw it up, by the way, if you are a diehard, if you have an extra screen, maybe pull up our draft guide so you can get our thoughts on a lot of the guys that are going to end up getting drafted today. I certainly think we have the top 15 covered. We'll see. It might get squirrely after that, but
I think it'll probably get squirrely before that.
Squirrely enough that we don't have. I mean, shit, the Wild could take some no-name Swedish defenseman. Anything's possible.
They're never going to live that pick down in our eyes.
Never, dude. It's the Wild.
We're gonna talk shit about that pick until we are done making this show together. All right, so they're somehow still on the clock.
Yeah, somehow the pick's not in yet. I hope that whoever is there, they messed it up, didn't put it in, and Chicago is about to literally 100-meter sprint to the stage.
Yeah, and then they are going to be jumping into Stadium Swim.
No, they're getting up. How sad.
Boring. All right, so Macklin Celebrini about to go first to the Sharks. Huge building block for that franchise, and good for them.
Let me ask you this, and obviously it's draft day. We're projecting massively here on everyone.
True.
Level of talent. Where do you put this guy? Less than Bedard?
Yes.
More than Eichel?
I think the difference with Celebrini is, there's obviously a great deal of offensive gifts, but it's the two-way ability and the hard-working demeanor and all those, the intangibles, the way he's dedicated to the game already. It's just, I think it's just so rare.
Sure.
In a top prospect like this that the entire package has already been put together.
The polish on it.
Yeah. That maturity is already there. So
they're going to make Jumbo make the selection, and he didn't walk up with the rest of the guys.
Dude.
Oh, my God, man.
The NHL, man. So I think with Celebrini, I would put him probably in the same tier as Jack Hughes, right in that same tier, but a better all-around player and not as dynamic offensively.
Less electricity.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do think that he's almost been underrated a touch because the rest of the draft class...
He's just been so locked into that first overall pick spot for so long.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
And the all-around game, it's exceptional.
Yep.
I was kind of iffy. I wanted to see what his draft year looked like, and he smoked everybody. In a top 10 is going to be littered with what teams are hoping will be franchise caliber defensemen. MacFarland Celebrini is a no doubt about it top tier number one guy.
And it's not like there was a lack of challengers. The dude rated to go second overall has changed 6 times this year.
Yeah.
And there was never a conversation about any of them catching MacFarland.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't close.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, coming into the year, Ivan Demidov and Cole Yzerman were 2 guys that you could at least have a conversation about. Hey, these are both really good at what they do.
Yep.
Demidov is an electric playmaker. Cole Yzerman, an electric goal scorer.
Opposite, yeah.
And you put them together, and you might have caught MacFarland Celebrini, but short of that.
Yeah, it's tough. We'll see.
What I think has been interesting is Celebrini, the conversation about him potentially going back to BU.
I was just going to ask, what do you think the chances really are of him not being in the NHL next year?
A forward drafted first overall has not
It's only been
jumped
defensemen,
immediately. Yeah. I don't even know how long.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
It's like lockouts and
if there's no season.
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Like it's actually insane. The
consistency of that.
Yeah,
happening.
and even most defensemen jump.
Yep.
But with forwards, it's basically it basically has not happened organically in my lifetime. So.
And it's not like San Jose doesn't have a spot for him.
Yeah. So that's a guy that is absolutely. He should be in San Jose, but if San Jose's like, go back 1 more year. Although if they were going to be cool with celebrating going 1 more year, send Will Smith back for 1 more year.
True.
Start the ELCs at the same time with whoever they draft at the top next year as well.
There you go.
But
the trifecta.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. So
wow.
It's not the worst to stagger those as well.
The Sharks draft party actually rained confetti. Fascinating.
Correctly, unlike the awards last night, which with the streamers got stuck in the lights. We all had a good laugh about that this morning.
So, Chicago on the board at number 2. It really has been swirling for maybe a week now. It certainly seems like they're leaning Levchinov.
Yeah, and again, just chatting with the CHGO friends down there.
That's the expectation.
Yeah, they were all pretty confident that this is going to be Levchinov, and Chicago fans are already a little testy about it.
I mean, you're the resident Levchinov hater here, so.
Yeah. You know what's funny is when we started this, I was really big on Lindstrom at 2.
Sure.
Because I loved the idea of Bedard and Lindstrom 1, 2, with the different skill sets and the power element of Lindstrom, and I've totally come around to being like, this should just be Demidov.
I swear, I was on Demidov at 2 from the beginning, and I stuck with it.
That playmaking is elite. It is fair to wonder, like, if he's so good, why isn't he playing in the KHL?
Because the KHL is really dumb with teenage forwards.
Right, but we see there's a guy that the Avalanche are going to be talking a lot about at pick 24, Nikita Artemanov.
I know.
Who played all year in the KHL and produced.
Yep.
We're talking about that guy as a late first rounder.
He doesn't have the skill set Demidov has.
He does not, of course, but it is. It's one more feather in the cap if I just don't understand the KHL from a prospect perspective.
Yep.
The way that their whole infrastructure treats prospects is completely nonsensical.
It's confusing, and it becomes even more so when you look at the rest of the top leagues around the world, where leagues like the Finnish Liga have embraced the young kids like exceptionally.
Yeah.
Even less so in the SHL in Sweden, but even in Sweden, you're seeing some of these kids get popped up into these pro leagues a little bit more consistently than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. It also, just anecdotally, it feels like so many college players lately.
There's been a lot of college.
And it feels like we've had a lot of non-American college players.
Yep.
Celebrini's going to go 1. We're
Yep.
talking about Levshinov going 2. 1, 2, college hockey, non-Americans.
Yep.
When Eric gets here later, I would love to have the conversation
sure he'll talk it up, yeah.
with him about why that has become such a viable route for players. Not just Americans, but Canadians. I mean, we've had a number of Europeans that have been going into college hockey and through the USHL route. Like it's interesting, and we're about to see. We could see 1-2 here.
And the interesting part about the 1-2 is, look, I totally understand it as you get into the late first, the second, or later.
Yeah.
Guess what? The college route gives you 4 years to think about that kid instead of the 2 of a CHL.
Well, and this is definitely.
But when you see
We
the first
see it all the time with the
overall,
Avs, right? Where we're always just like, they like that timeline.
But those 4 years don't matter to Celebrini.
No.
that's just irrelevant.
We're talking about
1, maybe.
We're talking about the 4th year being like, that's his second contract.
Right. So
who cares about that?
So it doesn't quite add up for those earlier picks in that regard. There are still some advantages, right? You see in the NCAA, they get to play against
older.
I don't know if I'd call it men, but
Yeah.
23, 24 instead of 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Even if, there's sometimes the skill level isn't that great, but depends on which conference you end up in the NCAA too. So.
Yeah. As Chad has mentioned, Copa is happening behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Shh, don't tell YouTube.
Don't let them know.
It's fine. Yeah, no, but with we could just talk Levshinov since this is about to happen, I think.
I'm pretty confident.
But as the resident Levshinov hater, my fear is just that the skills aren't going to translate all the way.
The lows are low. Let's be
Yeah.
real. The lows are real low.
And for a guy that I'm taking 2nd overall and I'm passing on a Demidov, I'm passing on, for me, it's a guy like Zane Parekh. But pick a defenseman. Pick one of these top D that you really like.
Dickinson,
Yeah,
whoever,
Zeev. I love Zeev. To go with Levshinov, you have to be really comfortable with the idea that he's going to be a franchise guy for you.
Yep.
And the tools are there. The 4-way mobility is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
The size, the handedness, all of the elements are there of saying, this could be one of those picks that we look back and say, this is franchise changing.
When he's at his best, he lacks nothing, right? There's no complications. If you could get the best out of him every night,
Yeah.
that you got a franchise guy. It's just, can you get him there?
Yep.
Don't know where he ends up on that scale, but neither does anyone. So, all right. Can we stop this?
Yeah.
We need to have whoever's picking
This
come
is-
up with the guys that walk up there to announce that he's the one picking.
This is a bigger red carpet than the red carpet at the awards last night.
You're not wrong, dude.
So this is the red carpet we had.
It's something.
God, he looks shell-shocked making this pick.
That's just his normal face.
Yeah.
It is
All right.
Levshinov as
So
expected.
We get Levshinov at 2. Cool.
Now you get Anaheim at 3.
Boy, has there been a ton of conversation about this being Anton Siliev.
Could be Siliev if you want to go deep. I wouldn't do it personally, but
Same.
there's at
We
least
can stick on Levchinov till this
Sure.
happens, but definitely, we'll probably pay a little more attention to actually what's going on now that we're like, cool, the picks are going to start being
the ones that aren't
Well,
like,
it's
yeah,
about to
we
harp
know
on.
who's going.
yeah.
The thing for Levchinov in Chicago is I wonder what that D-corps looks like in a couple of years.
A lot of interesting pieces. Obviously, Korchinski's at the top of that.
Yeah. And you had Korchinski's kind of a weird guy. Like, not that he's weird, but you have to be penciling that guy in on a power play if you believe in the skills that he has down the line.
Yeah, he feels very... I think Korchinski's been rushed a little bit.
I
because
would agree.
One more year is all I would have said. Just
Yep.
please, one more year.
And it was a struggle for him in the NHL this year. Like,
Yeah.
no two ways about it. He was not producing very effectively, and his defense was expectedly poor. And to be fair, that Chicago team was awful, but it did feel rushed. I agree. So maybe they don't make the same mistake with Levchinov.
Levchinov needs to be back in Michigan State for another year,
I
or
agree with that.
at the very least, you sign him and put him in the AHL, man. The ELC will slide. You don't have to worry about any of that. Just, I just don't.
He's not ready. That's for sure.
It's with Bedard, that timeline, because Bedard is so exceptional, the timeline gets accelerated.
Yep. If
And-
you don't
and the-
have that level of exceptional or the polish of someone like a Celebrini,
Yeah.
it's tough to make that jump, man.
Yeah, it is. And you have to worry. You're investing a top 2 pick. You were horrible all year.
Yep.
And this is your reward for that, is that you're supposed to figure this out from here. You can't rush that.
Yep.
You were already patient.
It's not like the plan is to turn it around with this guy this coming season. You have
Yeah.
time to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
It's interesting to see this Megan Chayka's best available list. I think is interesting because it's just so different. I forget Adam Yurchek is in this draft
He
all
sure
the time.
is.
All the time. I'm always like, oh, that's second tier of defenders. Oh,
That
yeah,
includes
him.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm getting antsy now just because I'm like, can we get to this interesting stuff?
Let's get to 10, and then
Yeah.
we start talking about who's left, who's gone, what happens next.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of Beckett Seneca talk.
Does he sneak top 10?
I mean, here at this pick, out of Anaheim, there's been a lot of Seneca talk here.
That's pretty rich.
I will, if I'm a betting man, and some days I am, I'm guessing that this is Siliev.
Would you rather have Seneca or Siliev here if it's you?
I would rather have neither.
I know. That's why I asked.
At least it's the opposite of both. I'd rather have Siliev.
Okay.
I just, on the off chance that he becomes
If
Dano
you're
Chara.
swinging for the fences,
Yeah.
swing for the fences. Sure.
Exactly, man.
I get it. I do. But I don't know. Both picks, I wouldn't be happy with either as a Ducks fan, for sure.
Same.
You've let Demidov go by.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of putting Demidov next to Leo Carlson, I think it's fun. I think you'd be great.
And if you're so obsessed with not going Demidov, you have Kaden Lindstrom right there.
Yeah.
But,
Or you could go Zeev. I mean, you just don't have to do this to yourself.
yep.
So, I don't know. Whatever. We'll
What do
see.
we think of the Sphere? Cool? Not cool?
I think the setup looks awesome, but this surprise pick announcement dude coming out of the woodwork.
Not great. Not great.
I strongly dislike this.
Seems pretty tight on the floor, too.
Although, it's definitely going to be Nathan McKinnon if this continues.
Dude walks down the red carpet double fisting
Exactly, with the trophies.
Yeah.
And just stands there to make the announcement with them in his hands. That would actually be a power move.
Ducks finally going back to the good jerseys, by the way?
Yeah.
As it always should have been.
We're not big on the jersey scene, but that is definitely... I mean, look how great that logo is.
It's so good. It's so good.
That dumb, duck foot thing that they had going on, I hate it.
Yeah. It was clever for, a year.
Yeah.
But it did not need to last nearly as long as it did. Do they hit a jackpot every time the pick is in? Hell yeah. Let's go.
You hit a pick is in.
Hey.
There's a trade one of those too. I hope we get to use at some point. It looks so cool.
I hope we get some trades this year. The draft day's just been so slow the last couple of years.
We've had 3 trade ups before the draft.
Yeah.
Stop it, guys.
Wait for draft day. Ooh, that's kind of weird. I don't love the list bending over like that. I didn't like that.
Yeah. But the verticality of the sphere is like a...
All right, it is Beckett Seneca. Okay.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
Okay, and even he's shocked. He couldn't believe that he just got picked at 3.
He just said, whoa.
he went, oh my God.
All right, so Callum Ritchie's line mate in Oshawa.
Just went 3rd overall.
Yeah, just went 3rd overall, and look, there was a lot of conversation about this guy rising and rising and rising, and what a great postseason he had. But
yeah,
I mean, you love the size, you love the skill, you love everything that he brings to the table, but 3rd?
Look. By the end of his rise, I was happy entertaining him at 8, 9. I just cannot.
Even Montreal's, the talk of Montreal at 5 was
it was too high for me.
Yeah, I was this feels really rich. And he just felt like that guy this year where everybody was going to get really obsessed talking about how great he was.
Talk themselves into it.
Yeah, and 2 weeks before the draft, and then the draft was going to roll around, and it was going to be he goes 12th.
And I don't want to take anything away from the kid. He'll probably go on to be a great NHL player. But when you're looking at the tools, you're really telling me he has the potential to be a better NHLer than Ivan Demidov?
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it. And you love that the Seneca is what the Ducks' identity used to be. That he's a real asshole to play against.
The Ryan Kessler era of Anaheim.
Yeah. I mean, he's, young Corey Perry here.
Sure,
a really skilled guy who plays with a lot of anger in his game. Mm-hmm. And you have to love that. NHL teams adore that, especially out of guys with his size.
You turn that into a high compete level. You turn it into a guy who does. I don't want to talk down his skills. The kid is absolutely offensively gifted at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
Not biased part of me wants to believe it was Callum Ritchie driving some of that offense, but
absolutely, man.
Yeah. First surprise, at least we got one out of the way early. I guess it's not that surprising. There was some smoke around it, but
yeah,
first reach, I guess I should say.
This puts Columbus in a really weird spot too.
You now have Demidov and Silyev.
Yeah, and Kaden Lindstrom,
sure.
Where you were okay, you didn't think it was likely that you were going to have a situation where you're picking between these 3 guys at 4.
Yep.
So to be having that conversation, if I'm Columbus, this is Demidov. If they're Columbus with Don Waddell running the show, I'm guessing that this is Silyev.
If it's Montreal goes Demidov for sure if Columbus doesn't, right?
That's where I think that Montreal could start taking the call.
Try and move that thing for who wants Demidov?
Exactly.
Okay.
How much can we extract for this?
Sure.
Could that be an Askarov deal? Or Nashville's give me Demidov and let's use the goalie.
I mean...
It'd be fun, but we don't ever see top 5 picks move, so I'm just dreaming.
I don't think that's reality, but one can hope. One can hope for something like that. Boy, Columbus could do a lot of crazy stuff too, though. Obviously the line stuff has been swirling for a while.
And it's such a strange organization where you look at it on paper You see that there's Zach Werenski as a really good NHLer, and then they just invested in Ivan Provorov and Damon Severson on the back end, but they also have they've got Jiricek in the system already, who looks really good to me.
He should be in the NHL.
Yeah, you have Adam Fantilli as your franchise center. Johnny Gaudreau is signed there. Kirill Marchenko had a really good year. Kent Johnson is a really slick playmaking wing who just needs a little bit more time. Cole Sillinger is still there, looking more like a bottom six guy in the NHL.
Yeah, probably.
Probably because they dropped him into the NHL as a bottom six guy and didn't.
Funny how that works out.
So it's a really good system.
Yep.
In Columbus.
But you have to get it there.
But organizationally, they're in such a weird spot where they've got a Werenski, a Severson, a Provorov on defense that it's like those three guys. It's a pretty good trio to build around. You have a high-end blue chip guy in Jiricek to build around.
Yep.
But after that,
what?
Like the gap between them though is so large. Johnny Gaudreau, 30 years old.
Yeah. Clock's ticking.
Yeah, exactly, man. And Adam Fantilli, 19.
Clock is not ticking at all.
There's not like a coherent window here.
For sure.
And that's where I'm trying to pick here, I think, is you have to decide, okay, are we comfortable paying Johnny Gaudreau a bajillion dollars for him to age out because we're worried about, we're trying to maximize this core group of guys right now.
Oh, all right. They're walking to the podium at least. So.
Yeah, and keep in mind we're behind.
Yeah, of course.
So they're walking. We think they're walking to the podium. They're at the podium.
They've already made the pick. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, they're talking anyway. So Columbus here, I think, is one of the more interesting. I think this is a defenseman.
Siliev time, or do they have the Stones and goes even? I'd love them for it.
I mean, the Stones is Siliev.
Is it?
To me, the brains is Zeev or Lindstrom or Demidov, yeah.
Yeah, if we're talking D, it's does anyone even else really get into that conversation? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Rick Nash, another selector.
God, I love him.
Yeah, he'd have been fun. Okay, it is Kaden Lindstrom. So
okay, so I talked about this when we first started really digging into the top of this draft, and I was all about the idea of putting Fantilli and Lindstrom together. That is a 6'3" and a 6'4" center back to back, down the middle.
Against, yeah.
So the question with Lindstrom, he didn't even play a full season.
Yep.
And when you're talking about, hey, this guy is 18 years old, might have back problems.
I mean, it's typical big guy stuff.
Nuggets fans very familiar with. Is Michael Porter Jr. ever going to be able to overcome that and fulfill the potential, or what? And it took some time. He's good.
Figured it out. Yeah.
Lindstrom's back was cleared at the combine, so it may not be a long-term thing, but it definitely makes you a little nervous that you just used the 4th overall pick on a guy who played like 40 games.
I don't know the extent to his back problems. I'm not a doctor, but he wouldn't be the first guy. You look at someone like Ryan Murray, who could just never get it healthy enough.
God.
When it was healthy, you could see the ability there, but it just couldn't stay healthy.
Cold of you to pull Ryan Murray on a Blue Jackets pick. On a Blue Jackets
I know,
pick.
I know. But for Kaden himself, look, he is a prototype power forward at the NHL level.
Yeah.
Like, it does all of the things you would expect a power forward to do, has the size to do it, is willing to engage physically. Not like so many big guys where we see they're big, but they don't play that big. He's willing to play big, and he has the goal-scoring ability to back it up and be a real power forward.
And he doesn't have the same profile as like a Quentin Byfield, where there were so many questions about, is this guy going to be a center?
Yeah.
Is he going to be a wing? Is he going to be able to he was plagued by inconsistency.
Can he drive play enough on a personal level?
Yeah, and there were so many like poor games from Byfield that he ended up on the wall, and now he looks like, he looks like he's going to be a really good
winger,
solid top 6 wing. But this, I think, is with Lindstrom, this is a power forward.
Yep.
Not a big guy, but a power forward.
plays with power.
Yeah, because and it's interesting that picks 3 and 4 here.
Yeah.
2 guys that play with a little hate in the heart. And that is a thing that you just have to have, man. And it's an interesting draft class, too, because how many times do we talk about these really high-skill guy at the top where you're like, yeah, he's 5'11" or whatever. Like, we'll have the Berkeley Catton conversation at some point.
In like 4 picks, probably.
Yeah. But, or this pick. Oh, God.
Dude, Montreal would, man.
But I do really like that this is a draft class full of power forward potential. A lot of guys that could really fulfill that obsessive need that NHL teams have to get these guys that'll just beat you up in the postseason.
Yep. Look, no matter how much you want to quantify stuff,
Yeah.
there's a certain intensity and effort level that is required of NHL players
Yeah.
that I don't want to say it's not quantifiable, but you can see it's a lot easier to see, okay, this guy who plays with a little bit of anger is able to turn that dial up. He can get to that area of play where he's willing to go to that level.
Yeah, and obviously it's the combination of power and skill that makes him, and the center position.
Of course, if you're just running around, then you're Curtis McDermott. Like.
God. I feel pretty good that Kaden Lindstrom's not going to have to worry about that.
Me too.
And Beckett Seneca, honestly.
They both have hands, so it's fine.
You make Curtis McDermott suddenly just wandering around with no hands.
Well, that's,
I mean, it's kind of what it looked like for a couple of years.
I saw him try to hold on to that Stanley Cup. It didn't work out great. Montreal now, as their clock is winding down.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so much talk about TJ Ginla to this pick.
Yeah.
They were just showing him.
Yep.
This is super cool. The sphere showing whose pick it is.
That's
so cool, dude.
Super awesome.
Doesn't do anything for anybody in the building, though. But it's super cool to look at.
All the video shots are like, that's kind of sick.
Yeah. All the drones flying around. No, with the Canadiens.
Did he have his mom come on the interview with him?
Hell yeah, he did.
That's crazy.
With the Canadiens, you wonder how much Matvei Michkov allegedly was not super
about it.
Yeah. And there were teams he was willing to go to and not willing to go to. Sure. It was a whole thing. And his timeline of it's going to be at least 3 years. Now it's been 1. Demidov is in a very different situation. Ivan Demidov has made it very clear he wants to be in North America in a year.
Yep.
So.
And Michkov just proved you can do it if you want to. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a totally different situation, and a different player. What I like about Demidov is that he has like a really underrated amount of snarl in the game. Sure. You're not ever gonna.
He's not gonna.
He's not physical,
but yeah.
But the guy has a willingness to get in the mix, and you do worry with some of the really slight wings, especially high skill wings that aren't heavy.
You have to be able to win board battles if you're a wing in the NHL. You have to.
Yeah, and you either do that by being really physical and really effective, or you do it by being really crafty with the stick, or some combination of the both. And Demidov is more of the stick type right now than
the physicality type.
Yeah, but he's willing to engage a little more often. So
got to at least be willing to get in there and figure it out, as opposed to not engage at all. And for Montreal, they are making the pick. So for the 100 billionth year in a row, it's the top 5 do not get traded. But they're bringing in Celine Dion to make their pick.
This is so annoying, dude.
And she's got to walk like a quarter mile to the stage.
Yeah.
They did not think this out.
I think, once again, like the award show last night, they were like, this is going to be so cool, and then there was no dry run.
Yeah, it was not.
They didn't just have some poor intern walk this and be like, this is a really awkward 15 seconds of dead air while we wait for her to pronounce some poor guy's name.
How funny would it be if they had Celine Dion waiting back there and then they traded the pick?
To have her announce the trade. Honestly, an all-time power move. And then they just go back and sit down at their table. Yeah. I feel bad for Tiff, who's trying to put the pick is in graphic up when the pick is in, and
she just has to like go off of our cues. Yeah.
No hating on Celine. She's
there you go. You're good.
Celine is a goddess. Come on.
Celine's a G. No, come on now. Don't be like that.
I assume she's making it in both English and French.
You would assume so. It is official now. Ivan Demidov is going to Montreal.
That's my favorite pick so far. Outside of
it just felt too
Macklin
easy.
Celebrini.
Well, okay, that's not even a pick. That's a
it's an IQ test.
Yeah, and it's not a hard one either.
No. Okay.
Hey, we saw them walking into the Sphere.
Who?
The Habs fans.
Oh, yeah. I meant to bring this up. So, obviously, everybody wants the draft to stay in person outside of the people who run the NHL for some ungodly reason. But when we were on our way down here, in the car, just stopped. We saw those Habs fans that were just on television.
Yep.
We saw Red Wings fans who I wanted to lean over Rudo and open the window and start booing. We saw a Sharks fan with the Red Wings fans. I'm assuming he was just lost. And that is, I think, just the beauty of the whole thing. I mean, it's Vegas. This is not a home city for any of those franchises I just named.
And, like, Eric and I were out and about getting interviews with people. Hockey stuff was everywhere. We saw some Avs fans. We saw a ton of Carolina fans. We saw some other Sharks fans. Like, it's super cool to see how the draft just brings out all of these hockey people. And it sucks that it's going away in the sense of the in-person stuff of it.
It's honestly, it's nonsense, man.
I don't know why they're doing it. But.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the overall enthusiasm that they're seeing for this event, look, they could just do this every year. It doesn't need to move around. Do it at the Sphere every single year.
Right. Great. Awesome. Sold.
We will fly out. We will come to Vegas every year, and we'll do this, and it'll be a great time. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
I mean, everybody in the NHL likes to come to Vegas for a week and just hang out and do whatever.
Yep.
It's a good time for everybody. We're not even talking about Ivan Demidov because we've spent so much time talking about him
leading
already.
Up to this, yeah.
He's an elite playmaker.
Probably one of the best processors of the game in the draft.
Outside of Celebrini, I would say yes.
And he has to be because his skating is just okay.
And Trevor Connolly was the other one that I think just from a how does he see the game.
Yep. Whew. Good stuff. On that note, as we are now through the first 5 picks, even out here in Vegas, we're still brought to you by Toyota. Make sure you're picking up your Toyota from your local Front Range dealerships. Of course, they have tons of different options for you, whatever it is you might want, whether it be a new truck or if you're looking for a SUV. They've got the 4Runner, they've got the RAV4. They've got tons of other options too. 17 different off-road vehicles. So whether you're in Colorado going off the trail or maybe you're out here heading out to Lake Henderson or something in Vegas, Toyota has the vehicle for you. So jump on it. Make sure you're getting in with Toyota. And if you are local to Colorado, of course, get to your Front Range Toyota dealerships that are including, but not limited to, Corwin Toyota Arapahoe, and hang on, everything just lagged, and I gotta connect. All right. Auto Nation Toyota Arapahoe in Centeno, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Go get yourself the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and the official vehicle of DNVR. 5 picks through. It's been a fun draft. Siliev falling, I don't think that big of a surprise.
I mean, he was at, 12 in our mock?
Yeah.
13 in our mock, somewhere in there? Oh, yeah, 13 I took him with the Wild.
Yeah,
I took him with the Wild.
You're right.
And I was always really surprised at how this whole, like, well, he could be Zdeno Chara, like, carried so much of the conversation about it. Like, yeah, he's a monster. He's huge. Elite size, wonderful mobility, especially for a player that size.
Yeah.
That's all very, that's great.
Can he handle a puck for more than 2 seconds?
But he's also, like, physically.
Oh, he'll run you over. Yeah, he'll crush you.
There's a reason he gets Nikita Zadorov comps. We're describing Nikita Zadorov.
Yep.
An elite size, a good mover, and just a hammer.
Yep.
But what does he do? How does he process the game? And what does he do with the puck?
In any zone.
In any zone. If that's 15 points, he needs to be... There's no world in which it's worth a top 10 pick if he's a 15-point guy.
Right.
There's just no realistic version of a defensive defenseman that is so incredible.
Not in this era of hockey.
Yeah, you need to be able to do some stuff with the puck.
Yep.
That said, would it not be incredible after Simishev last year
To just take another
to take
swing
Sileo
on the Russian D? It would be the first pick in Utah's history.
Oh, the Utah is going to make their first selection. I'm so excited for this.
As if it's any different. It's just the exact same people from Arizona from an organizational standpoint. But it is still technically Utah history.
I give it like 2 seconds before I do the pick is it thing again.
Yeah, well, who are they going to bring out for this? They're going to bring out John Stockton?
Someone's going to have to walk in from Henderson.
It's going to be us. Gotta go, guys. Gross.
Did they make that logo in Canada? What are we doing here?
It's bad, dude. It's bad.
Yeah.
If you could build a sports team that screamed little brother anymore, I don't know what to tell you.
Totally gonna end up being the Yetis too. It's just we're
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be really
For
frustrating.
the rest of time.
Especially knowing how hard the Avs have moved away from the Bigfoot foot, which fans universally love.
All right, here we go. Here comes the pick.
The Utahs.
Proudly select Utah man himself. I don't know. No one on Twitter spoiled it, so I'm still waiting. Wow, he's got a lot to say.
I guess is he going to tell the entire story of how the franchise came to be a franchise? Like, yeah, so we just...
All right, it is Teej going to Utah.
All right, well, this is not fun.
No.
I don't even want to talk about this pick.
All right, I mean, Teej at 6.
Damn. Shohei Ohtani is on a 10-game RBI streak.
Okay.
That's nuts, man.
That's just Shohei stuff.
Doing that 10-game RBI streak from the leadoff spot? That's incredible.
How many?
I told you I want to talk about this pick.
How many strikeouts does he have in that stretch?
Oh, man. 2?
Thrown.
None.
None?
No, he had TJ. He can't throw.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's next year.
Yeah, you're right.
He's already hit 25 home runs. We're not even halfway through the season.
Must be nice. Teej, look.
I don't want to talk about this. I'm mad about it.
Talk about Teej. Don't talk about the team.
I'm just mad about it.
He projects in a lot of ways really similar to his dad.
In solidarity with the PHNX Coyotes. Stupid ass Utah. Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
That's it.
Yeah. Honestly, Teej is a guy that, like, he was like a mid-first round guy most of the year, and then as the year wore on,
Kind of crept up.
he just got better and better and better, and then you started looking at him, and then he gets into U18s at the end of the year, and he rocks.
Yep.
And you're like, whoa. Okay, Teej. We're no longer talking about you as the... Like, everybody was like, let's just send him to Calgary at 9. Calgary didn't even get a chance this time. Not that they did it last time. Dallas took Jerome.
I want to go off script here. Even if Teej becomes a great player, You should never do that. You should never, with a high pick, you should never be picking the guy's son.
I would only do it after extensive conversations with him, because you remember when Tyson Barrie was drafted and his dad was a part owner of the Tampa Bay Lightning,
Yep.
and he told the Lightning, please do not draft me. I do not want to deal with this situation. And it's different. Look, Eric is a guy that Eric can tell you. Now, it was not drafted by his dad.
Ended up there.
But Eric can tell you that there are complications when it comes to playing for your dad like that.
And
We saw it in Winnipeg, too. Adam Lowry playing for Dave Lowry after Paul Maurice quit. A little awkward.
It's just setting up your kid for failure. Because, like, let's say Tej goes on to be a pretty good middle six NHLer. For most teams, you're pretty happy with that.
Or like a 30-goal scorer.
For Calgary, you're like, well, he's not as good as his dad.
The one thing about Calgary, though, that I thought was interesting, now obviously it doesn't matter anymore,
right.
but for the Flames, they can't keep anybody.
That's also true.
So a dude growing up in Calgary is like your best shot
to actually want to stay there.
to get a guy that'll be like, no, I don't want to go play for an American team. I'm good here. This is fine.
Yeah, but is Ottawa or is Utah going to be able to keep anybody?
To be determined, but Teach might be like, trade me to Calgary, please.
No.
Anyway, his fit in the organization is great. You have a little bit more of security than you did last year with Daniil Boot. And you get a really good all-around prospect who plays with a little bit of power but also has the skill level. And they just continue to add talent to that organization, and you start to see the makings of it where you're like, okay. I am a little bit surprised that last year I thought they reached a bit on Simashev and they took the big home run swing on the defenseman. And this year I think they play a little more safe. Iginla's a little more projectable.
Yep, I agree.
But it's also a draft class where there are dynamite defensemen available. Not even getting into Silyev, but the Zeev is still Zeev is there. Parekh is there. Dickinson is there. I like him, but Yakimchuk is there. Like, the defensemen who could be serious difference makers in this draft class are all there.
Yep.
And they go with a guy that how confident are you he's a top-line wing?
Not super confident.
And your NHL team has, what, one signed NHL defenseman now after the Michael Kesselring deal yesterday? Like, and there's not a ton in your AHL system. I'm a Maximilian Schubert truther. It's a weird sentence to say. But I love that guy, but you need more than just Dmitry Simashev and some of the other and Maverick Lamoureux.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they do need a little bit more of anything. I do find it a little bit weird that you're picking a power forward type when you feel committed to someone like a Lawson Krause, when you have a Connor Geekie already in your system.
Yeah, but with Geekie and Cooley and Michelli and the guy that I'm forgetting because Josh Doan doesn't have the same shine in Utah as he did in Arizona.
That's true.
All those guys, like, you have the makings of a really, really good forward core.
Ginther.
And, Dylan Ginther.
Just trying to think of a name.
You're completely correct. He's the guy that I really should have thought of more than Doan, but both of them were really good last year at times. What you love about it is that it's a very diverse prospect pool now at that position. How many more top 10 picks do you need to build a defense, though?
True.
So
they should have made Linus Ullmark do this pick. Just saying, for Ottawa.
They should have made Jeremy Swayman give him a goodbye hug. Break everybody's hearts.
There you go. The pick is officially in, and the Ottawa Senators select your boy.
I don't know if I should feel validated that they took him this high or offended because it's Ottawa.
I don't like Carter Yakimchuk as much as you do, but I'm not against him.
Yeah.
Can you really justify him against ahead of Zeev?
I would. I really like Yakimchuk. I would not have taken him ahead of Zeev.
Okay.
And I think that there would have been I would have heard the argument for Dickinson. And I am not here for taking him ahead of Zane Parekh.
So a little bit of a reach, even if it is a guy you like.
I really like him. He's right shot, and he's got great size. And funny enough, the thing I love about him the most is that he's competitive.
You're touching on that a lot tonight.
It is, well, and I think that it's a theme, right?
Yeah,
you look at the top of this draft, and you're talking about teams valuing a compete level, not just skill, not just a nice shot or good skating or any of that, but guys that get into a game and want to eat your heart.
Yeah.
And that's, how do you play with all heart? You eat the other guys, so now you have two hearts.
Hard to teach a guy that, for sure.
Exactly. And that's what I loved so much about Yakimchuk. There is a lot of work to do defensively. A lot of work to do defensively.
Look, this is what I'm sold on. If you believe in the offensive upside, someone's getting a trade or something. Gary Bettman's talking about something with Seattle on the clock.
Okay, probably just
Looks
saying.
like commercial break, yeah.
Yeah.
With Yakimchuk, every year in the draft, you see a ton of, hey, here's an undersized defenseman that has a bunch of offensive potential. Yakimchuk, you take away the undersized part of it.
Yeah, I don't care.
About what?
Undersized defenseman this year.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying in general.
I don't really care at all in the modern NHL. But,
yeah.
Look, the old adage goes, you have two players that are the exact same skill level, you take the bigger one.
Yeah.
Now.
But what's fascinating about this pick in particular is that this whole list, there isn't one guy that you're saying, well, that's a small guy.
In the top 15, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in this whole list of, like, this group of defensemen that we've always talked about.
Sure, yeah.
Yakimchuk, Buyam, Parekh, and certainly Vasilyev.
Just the opposite of a small.
God, does he feel like a Ron Francis pick, though?
Well.
Yeah. I mean, this is, and again, I think it's going to be, this is the most fascinating pick so far.
Agreed.
Is Seattle. Because now Yakimchuk is gone. All these other guys that we love on D are still there.
They're sitting around.
They need a defenseman.
Yep.
If they take a forward here, I'm just going to shake my head. Which, take that, Ron Francis, I guess. But they need a D. They've had two top 5 picks so far, and it's been Matty Beniers and Shane Wright.
If you believe in Shane Wright at all, you should take a D.
Yeah.
Put it to you that way.
Yeah. And I mean, the only forward that what's the other side of this, right? If they take a forward, who's the forward? Because for me, you have Shane Wright, really good two-way guy. Matty Beniers, really good two-way guy. Yeah. It has to be Berkeley Catton.
Just take the full-on offensive upside swing.
The absolute most dynamic guy. And if you end up with a 1-2-3 and Shane Wright becomes a 3C because he's really good that way, great. But you have to seriously believe that Berkeley Catton is going to be a top 6 center to take him ahead of all these other guys.
All right, hear me out.
Don't you dare say Constant Hellenius.
No.
Okay.
Yzerman.
I just don't think they're in that position. I don't think that there's enough all-around game there for that organization yet.
I would agree, but boy, if you look at a guy that could rip goals home for a hockey team that could use a bit more of an offensive punch, and I get it. You are taking a high risk that the rest of his game gets to where it needs to be.
Yeah, and I would not take Yzerman ahead of all these D.
I'm perfectly comfortable with that, but if you're looking for a forward, could you talk yourself into Yzerman over a Cat?
Not me personally.
Okay.
If I'm Seattle, if it's my team and I have no other players,
different conversation. Yeah.
I love Yzerman. I would definitely go that route.
But with what Seattle already has built.
Exactly. But with the organization in place here and the conversation around this pick in particular.
And a style of hockey that is
more interested
not
in
score a million goals and don't do anything else.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a really fascinating pick. This has actually gone a really fascinating way.
Lots
where
of interesting stuff, yeah.
if you're the Sharks, knowing that you had just moved up to 11,
Yeah.
you know you're getting one of those D, you have to love
You're
this.
chilling. You're hard chilling.
Now, I think they did that because they want Yzerman to pair with Celebrini. They're homeboys. Eric told me to stop calling them besties. They're homeboys. They're BU guys. But
Hey, look. It's Matty Beniers.
they didn't have anybody else. What other celebrity are the Kraken going to bring? But with these D falling this way, the Sharks moving up to 11 looks very prescient at the moment.
It does. It does look like a smart move. The pick is in for Seattle. Matty Beniers up there saying some words.
Hell yeah.
For
Oh, so many words.
ultimately, they go with AJ's predictive Berkeley Catton. They go with the forward side.
Feeling good.
First time in a long time that we've seen the D start to fall in the draft.
Yeah. Ignoring the phrasing, I think we really got into the Catton pick there.
Yep.
So I don't know that I have a ton to add to it, but it
Yeah,
really does make so much sense.
I mean, if you're talking about Berkeley Catton, super high-end offensive ceiling,
Yeah.
has some work to get there, is certainly on the smaller side.
I don't understand an organization that needs defenders so badly passing on all of the ones that are available.
You didn't like any of them?
But you don't like any of them. You have to love
Berkeley Catton.
Berkeley Catton.
Yeah.
You remember a minute ago when I rudely cut you off and said I don't care about undersized? This guy is undersized.
Yeah.
He's the first one that you look at and you say, undersized.
Yep.
A small dude, but the exact kind of dynamic talent that has not been in the Kraken organization. And he needs to bulk up.
For sure.
And a big, big part of this for me, he has to stay at center to make this worth it.
Definitely can't be a wing at the NHL.
If he's
level. I
not,
don't see it.
if he's going to be, I would have had no problem with him as a wing in the NHL until they passed on all those defenders to
No,
take him.
I just don't see him as an effective wing in the NHL.
He would have to change a lot in his game.
He'd just become a completely different guy, basically. But what I will say is, if you, at
How
least
big that jersey is on it.
it's quite large.
Looks like the owner's kid.
I'm a big believer. If you're looking at a guy who's undersized, you're talking about a guy who has the high-end ability to play at the NHL level at a smaller size. Now, he can't be this small.
Yeah.
But a guy who can use evasiveness to make plays work at the NHL level, even if it isn't physical at times.
Yep.
So
I still don't understand passing on all the D, but at least I understood before it happened the reasoning of Berkeley Catton. It's interesting, man.
some of us wait till marriage, AJ.
I don't like talking about marriage.
Fair enough.
Jesus.
I'm mad.
Waiting for Calgary to make their 9th pick in here. Tiff says you guys gave us a couple super chats.
Yes.
What do we got?
So I've got $10 from Broker, who says, hope all is well, DNVR. Glad to see Nate Dogg finally getting some recognition. MVP at last. Whoever voted him 5th needs their vote taken away. Looking forward to Nate getting a Conn Smythe.
Do you think...
I would love to see him get a Conn Smythe. I'm in.
I will bet a lot of dollars he never gets a...
Nothing's stopping us.
We could go tomorrow. We're back.
We can go have meat sweats on an airplane. That sounds terrible.
Sorry, friends. Software hardcore lagged.
So Zane Parekh goes 9th to
Yeah.
the Flames.
You have to think we're about to see a run on these D guys, right?
Yes.
Parekh maybe flashing the most offensive upside, AJ?
Yeah, so the reason why I was so high on Parekh as my guy in this, as my favorite defender in this draft, not named Zeev, was that when you look at the Norris Trophy voting from yesterday, who was at the top of that thing?
Cale Makar,
Quinn Hughes,
Cale
Makar, Roman Josi, Adam Fox, Evan Bouchard.
Miro Heiskanen was down at like 9.
There are no defensive defensemen in that list.
Yep.
And all of those guys, their games are extra dynamic because of what they do offensively, and all of them have been, well, they'll learn defense later. And that's what's happened.
That's
I'm
what
sorry,
the modern NHL defense is.
You look at Charlie McAvoy as a defense-first guy whose offenses had to catch up.
Yep.
He's just not as good. He's not as good as those guys. He's awesome, and I love Charlie McAvoy. But when you're talking about where the game is right now, Zane Parekh is where it is and where it's going. I will teach him defense.
I would say this. The term defense is a bit mercurial, right?
Yes.
It is
a concept.
Getting pucks going the right direction, making those quality breakout passes. Is that defense? Because guys like Zane Parekh can do that for you.
In that case, he's a wonderful defender.
Now, if you're asking him to take pucks away from the other guys, maybe you got some work to do. But
Yeah, and it's you worry offensively. He can be an absolute maniac with the puck, where he tries to force it, and he makes some really bad reads trying to find the home run pass out of his own zone.
a little bit of hero puck at times, for sure.
But the way that he's so dynamic with the puck, and holy crap, is he a goal scorer? We can talk about it with Yakum. So is Yakimchuk, by the way. But with Zane Parekh, you're talking about a dude that I think is going to push Cale Makar as the goal-scoring defenseman,
Sure,
to be on the lookout for as a potential 20-goal guy every single year. Parekh should be a 15-goal guy easy in the NHL.
Yes, Chet. I did say Mac's never going to win a Conn Smythe because Makar's going to win 3. Relax.
I like this take. So Zane Parekh.
Zane Parekh.
And now we're kind of on a weird break. The New Jersey Devils at 10.
Yeah.
If you're the Devils, this has gone well for you too.
The thing is, I feel like the Devils organization is flexible enough that they could go with whatever here.
Well, and with Nemitz and with Luke Hughes.
Yep.
Is this the real beginning of the Anton Siliev conversation where you're like, I don't need him to do that other shit?
Just crush people.
Or you could just, I mean, Zeev and Sam Dickinson here would be great.
Boy, Zeev would be really fun.
Yeah. Because the concerns about, Zeev won't be a number one. He's not going to have to be in
Yep.
in New Jersey.
Yep.
And Dickinson offers up such a Jake Sanderson-esque profile of an elite athlete with great size.
Yep.
Sorry, I got distracted by watching Tiff and not knowing if we're doing something or not doing something.
The thing with Dickinson
We're fine?
is, like,
okay, sorry.
He absolutely has the athletic ability to be an NHL player. There's
Definitely.
no question about that.
And he offers something different from Hughes and Nimitz.
Yep. I do wonder about some of the hockey sense there.
I very much wonder about it. Yeah.
I don't think it's quite as bad as some people say. Like, I think his first instincts are generally good, but there's not enough of a plan there. He can make a first read correct and get himself away from the danger, and then what?
Yeah.
What's the next move to get your team going the right direction?
That is a common link also among some of the defenders that we're talking about left here, are when you put them under the pressure of a forecheck, what happens?
Yeah.
And it's results are all over the place, and that's why they're still here.
Correct. Math adds up on that one. New Jersey getting ready to make their pick here. They came back from that commercial pretty abrupt. Marty Brodeur, the pick is in, and they officially do go with the big guy.
This made a lot of sense when he got here. That
Yeah.
when he got here, that it would. I mean, we just talked about it. I don't know that I need to reiterate it. As stylistically as just you don't care if this guy ends up. You're not asking him to be Zdeno Chara anymore. You're saying, hey, we've got the really dynamic guys on our defense already. Now we have the hammer.
Yep. He can play that similar role of a Josh Manson in Colorado.
Really big.
Be big, hit stuff.
I mean,
skate pretty well.
I'm sorry, but the 211, That's temporary, man.
That dude's gonna be
Look at him.
240 in 6 months.
Seriously, like when he's all grown up and he's a big guy,
Yeah.
and he's not a baby big guy, but a big guy, he's gonna be seriously 6'7", 240.
Yep.
I don't want that. I don't want to go into a board battle against that.
I don't want to go anywhere near that guy.
Yeah, you want Berkeley Catton going into the corner against that guy?
That guy standing up, his elbows are at my head height. Like, there's nothing he can do.
Yikes. I think what's interesting is that we're talking about, I don't know that that's necessarily BPA for them, but just a great fit for their organization.
Yeah.
So the slide here certainly on Zeev.
Yep. Zeev out of the top 10 now.
Has been surprising for me. I had Dickinson out of my top 10 when we were making our list, and I had Yakimchuk and Parekh in there.
Got those right.
I'm getting them all right on draft day because I've spent the last 6 months being wrong about everything else. But with this here, the Sharks, I've been saying they moved up, that they wanted Yzerman. They wanted to get ahead of Philly.
But you have those two D sitting there now?
Yeah. Especially with Zeev, doesn't that change the math for you?
Yes.
And
it would for me.
How much longer just to have this conversation? How much further does Zeev have to get before we start asking the Avs to do this?
Start trading up,
to get
buddy.
the DU kid? Just let Zeev and Sean Barons play as a pairing in the NHL now?
As long as he doesn't go to Minnesota, man.
God, I don't like this conversation anymore. This stop being fun.
The thing is,
You'd have to get ahead of St. Louis, too.
San Jose is so far away from anything that it's like you could talk yourself into whatever for this pick. Yzerman, either of these defensemen, if they decide they really like a guy, what?
Was he just talking? Did they just show Mike Greer talking?
They might have.
Oh, I wonder if they were like, yeah.
Quick, check the back channels.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's coming up on the screen, so I'm assuming not.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Anything is happening.
This is what happens when we only see these quick cuts.
And every team has waited their full clock to even go up.
Annoying. I wonder if the NHL was like,
you got 3 minutes.
Like, use your time. Because they all start getting up off the table with 10 seconds to go. And you're like, it's at least 2 more minutes till this pick is made.
They made this pick 2 minutes and 50 seconds ago. Yeah.
Sitting there.
They're done. The pick is in. There's no doubt. It's not actually in, but it's in. Here's a thought.
This has to be Yzerman.
How much rope does Mike Greer have left in San Jose?
I think plenty, because I think he's had a good week.
I think he's had a good week too, after a lot of bad weeks.
There have been a couple of interesting things, but I think he's been on a little bit of a heater the last couple of days.
Don't walk away from the table when you're on a heater, kids.
Yeah, we're in Vegas. Learn the lessons. To me, this just has to be Yzerman, knowing the history with Celebrini, and you put them the idea of putting them together, and I wonder if I'm just putting the pieces together too easily and saying relationships kind of dominate everything about this league.
But
instead of just being like, look, it's just Zeev. Just take Zeev.
All right. Could they not take Zeev, though? That'd be more interesting if they didn't.
Yeah, a Zeev falling. I mean, we might see Megan go up on the stage and start threatening people, but...
Well, that would be interesting in its own way.
I'd be delighted. She has to put the goalie knives away for the Zeev knife.
Yeah, have to hide them. The pick is in for the San Jose Sharks.
Are they going to bring Joe Thornton out again? Or?
No, they're just going with Dickinson. All right.
Ugh.
Dickinson over Zeev.
Yikes.
I really like Dickinson, but that is a tough sell for me.
Yeah, and it brings us to 12 at Philly, where we've heard a lot of Cole Yzerman conversation.
Yeah.
But how much of that conversation happened with no Zeev on the board.
Look, if Eric was here, he'd tell you take the best player available.
Oh, God, if I have to hear him say on my list one more time.
And
I will definitely have to hear him say that later today.
I have to think on most lists in the NHL right now, the top guy is Zeev.
Clearly not.
Well, I'm saying all the
ones now, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe not, maybe he's the second guy on everybody's list. I don't know.
Me personally, I would definitely have Zeev over Yzerman.
Same.
And can we get a big board update just tossed up there? I can't even see it. I don't know why I'm asking for this.
I mean, what other forwards out there? You're starting to get into like Hellenius territory.
Yeah, and Hellenius is like
definitely a step down as far as ceiling is concerned.
Yeah, Hellenius is like the quintessential classic Minnesota Wild pick.
Yeah. You could throw Branson Nygaard in there too.
Oh God, if they took him over Constant Hellenius, I think
that'd be a mistake. Sure, but it's tough. We kind of already talked about Dickinson too, so that is what it is. He just has to like walk between all these other teams' tables.
This is such an awkward walk.
It's so weird. Philly's on the clock.
Yeah.
Exciting time for our sister site, PHLY.
Yeah, I should go grab a CHGO guy and see how they're feeling about Levshinov and what they think about the board falling to them, who they might want at 18.
It's interesting. I was looking at the list there. Your boy Trevor Connolly also still available if you want maybe more of an upside.
Yeah. Yeah, Trevor Connolly, I think the Trevor Connolly conversation is going to start getting a little louder with every pick because this is about the range where you would start talking about him.
Sure. It's just a matter of...
Yeah, but we'll see on that. I mean, that's going to be I don't know.
You know there are some teams that are just going to be like, I'm good. Yeah.
You know that he's going to be on plenty of D&D lists.
Yeah.
So, still a little surprised Utah went with Iginla at 6. Still mad.
It's Utah. You find reasons to be mad at him.
Oof, this list has Basha behind Parasak, man. I don't like that.
I don't understand how Parasak ended up what he did. I get the box score is gaudy, but if you watch that guy play, like...
He's got 2 really good line mates.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Button had him at 13, I was like, bro.
That's tough. That's a tough sell.
Yeah, we're going to start getting into the guys that we've done our deepest homework on.
Research.
You know, we start talking about the Jet Luchankos, Stein Solbergs, a little bit of Branson Nygaard maybe.
Can we wait 12 more picks before we start talking about Jet Luchanko? They're on the phone.
Yeah.
Briere is on the phone,
Briere's
folks.
on the phone. And there's been a lot of talk about Philly moving around.
I mean, they've been tied to Yzerman a lot. If you feel like, hey, there's still some D on the board, we think Yzerman will still be there at X pick down.
Yeah, well, and if a team wants to jump ahead of Minnesota for Zeev,
Yep.
I have a hard time buying that Minnesota would necessarily take Yzerman.
Me too.
But, I don't know, Yzerman could breeze off someday. I don't know. That would be my interest if I'm Philly is how far down are we comfortable actually going?
Yeah, I can't imagine it'd be like a big move back, right? You're talking about
not to like 24.
You're talking about to like 16 or something. Maybe not even that.
I mean, you say 16 though, but St. Louis coming up for Zeev to get ahead of Minnesota
make sense for St. Louis.
is a big time double whammy.
Yeah,
because they get a defenseman in Zeev that they would immediately be their best prospect, but they also get ahead of a Central Division team and don't allow him to be a guy that beats them.
Yep, it's true.
And they're in
they're just getting up.
Well, they're still talking.
They're talking though. Call your timeout, Philly.
He was just saying, I was reading his lips. I saw him say 24.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Maybe they are calling their timeout.
I mean, the clock says 0 and they're not moving.
This is where We have the NFL draft scenario that we're always joking about. Minnesota running up to the stage. Snooze, you lose, Philly.
Yeah, is he getting up? He's not getting up? Is he getting up?
I would fake get up every 10 seconds if I was in his position.
Just to, like, mess with people?
Just to mess with them.
All right. Well, we at least got some interesting stuff going on. I don't know if it ends up being a trade or what, but leave it to Danny Briere to shake things up.
Are we still good? I'm spinning. Okay. Great. Now I'm paranoid about it, so.
I assume you're not on the Wi-Fi with that.
I am not.
At least. Yeah, this pick's getting moved. It has to be, right? At this point.
This has to be a deal.
Friedman saying some movement coming. Doesn't say anything official, but.
Is he talking about his bowels? Gross. That's gross. I wonder if this is.
Next time I walk in the bathroom, I'll be like, gotta go make the 12th pick real quick. Hang on.
Movement coming.
I wonder if this is Rutger McGroarty.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd be a little more complicated if it's not just like a trade back situation.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really excited. You get to use the trade thing.
Yeah, we're gonna get to use a trade graphic here at some point.
We don't get to see it, but
I'm sure it looks.
I have
great.
seen it. It's super cool. I'm excited that Tip gets to use it during the show. Look, during the watch along tomorrow, there's always a million trades. We can just fire that thing off at will. Yeah, exactly. Team starts selling 5th rounders for next year's 5th rounders. Like, let's just do this.
How long is a timeout?
Yeah.
At the draft.
That's a question I used to ask my parents a lot. How long is a timeout, Dad?
They're still talking. They're not getting up, though.
Well, with Danny Briere, you never know.
Is he just standing right now?
Yeah, he could just be standing right now.
All right, Bettman, walk out there and tell us what's happening.
Yeah, let's go. I'm just going to spend the next few minutes believing that I saw that correctly. He said 24, and that the Avs are going to get Zeev out of this. All right?
The problem is he could say that about any pick. Because it's a second in 24.
Stop it. Yeah, what he actually said was 2024.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough at lip reading to get the 20 part.
All right, Gary's coming out. So
give him the 2026 and the 24th pick this year. And they can just have all of our firsts. Have him, Danny. Zeev. Oh, that'd actually be pretty fun.
Dude, I'm even getting texts from people like, on the clock, huh?
I wish Micah was here with us.
It'd have been fun. Trade alert!
Hell yeah.
The big jackpot.
All right.
Yeah, now we got to figure out what the trade actually is. It's Minnesota moving up one spot.
Dude, for a third
in
2025?
Yep.
Man, this is worst case for us that Minnesota gets Zeev.
Yeah, that really sucks. I hate this so much.
I hate this. I'm actually going to be much madder about this than I was the Utahs.
All right, what if they pick Cole Yzerman?
Well, and then Philly gets a free third for...
just to take Zeev anyway.
I wonder if is that 2025 third rounder? The Duhaime pick? Or was that 26?
I don't know.
I can never keep the Trennan and Duhaime picks in line. I don't remember which one was which.
All of those ones mush together with me every year.
They got traded an hour apart, and I almost never look at the years because I just go, third rounder's gone.
All right, this is ridiculous. Minnesota doesn't need 3 minutes. They traded up for a reason.
Yeah.
They know who they're taking.
They're going to trade up and then be like, we're taking calls now.
Do you want the 12th? Yeah. Honestly, I would applaud. That'd be some good business. You're like, hey, you call someone up, we can get the 12th. Give us a second for it.
We'll give up a 2025 third to go and get 12 and then trade 12 to somebody else for a 2025 second. And you're like, suck it, Danny Briere. Bill Guerin being like, I hated you when we played.
I hate you now.
This is what you get. I've waited a long time for this.
You're not lizardy enough for me.
What a weird... That was such a weird thing. What was that guy? Paul Fenton.
Yeah.
Who was like David Poyle's like right-hand man and the architect of all those great defenses. And then he gets to Minnesota and it's like, what is this?
Just loses his mind.
He's talking about lizard people and shit. Like, we need you to put down Stormfront.com and run our hockey team, guy. Weird. I don't know. I would like to believe that this is for Constant Helenius, who is the perfect Minnesota Wild pick.
Mikko Koivu 2.0.
Exactly.
Wow. They went up with a minute on the clock. All right. They didn't milk it for every second. Gary's like, you're too early. Go back. Their logo's still backwards. I'm just saying.
Their logo still sucks, is I think what you mean to say. It
also
just
true.
Sucks.
Also true.
It's just like a weird painting.
All right. The pick is in for Minnesota. We'll see how long Bill Guerin has to talk about random stuff before he actually makes it. But, I mean, ESPN thinks it's in.
I just don't even want... I don't want to look. I don't want to know.
Well, I've got bad news for you. It is Zeev going to Minnesota at 12.
Well, the good news in all this is that Zeev has always been really overrated and is not going to turn into anything in the NHL.
Keep telling yourself that.
So overrated. We really blew him up just because of the DU thing and because he played next to Sean Behrens. Sean Behrens made him look way better than he actually is. So him going to Minnesota, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
He's not actually any good. It doesn't matter. I hate this.
Yeah, it sucks.
This sucks. Sports are stupid. Don't care about things in life, kids.
What have we learned?
We've learned that once again, Minnesota ruins my draft
When AJ
day.
likes a prospect, it's going to Minnesota.
Golly.
Even if they have to trade up to do it, they'll get it done.
This sucks. No first-round goalies in this draft, no.
None.
Maybe not even...
Second.
Yeah, maybe like late second
Yeah.
is like when that conversation might start.
So 12 is now Minnesota. And
Correct.
13 is Philly.
Yep.
Correct.
Was flopped.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everything is stupid. This has been the longest day ever already.
It's okay. He can just come back to Colorado after a couple years. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
you know what? He's already, his freshman year's done. We
Yep.
only have to wait 3 years for him to decide to be a free agent.
Yep, there you go. Problem solved.
Much better timeline.
He's going to like DU so much, he's going to be like, you know what? I don't want to leave. I think I'll stay in Colorado.
They're going to call him No Leaves Eve.
Or you can go to Minnesota and we can call you Bowie Bum. It's fine.
We have figured this out pretty nicely. Yeah.
That was pretty. That cope happened really quickly. I appreciate it. It was just like
We went through all the stages of it.
Yep.
in like 2 minutes. All the stages of grief.
Well, that happened.
Well, now they can still get Yzerman, and I'll just be mad at them forever. You know what, Danny Briere? You did give us that last-second goal in Boston. I'll forgive. That was a cool moment.
Yeah, 2 games into that season.
It was a cool moment, Rudo.
On that note, instead of investing into prospects, make sure you're investing into your own checking account with Westera Credit Union. Founded 90 years ago here in Colorado with 9 different locations in the Denver metro area. They won't go to Minnesota. They'll stay here and make sure your money is in a good place, including their Smart Money Checking. This account can earn you up to 6% annual percentage yield on your first $2,000 each month. And as your balance grows, so does your potential to unlock additional great rates. It's the same as saving $120 per year on that 6% on $2,000. And there's much more you can earn, including a rewards debit card that has no monthly or maintenance fees and so much more. If you're like earning money by doing the things that you're already doing with your money, visit westeracu.com/smartmoney for more details. Of course, membership eligibility required, insured by NCUA. Restrictions and conditions apply. All right. On to 13. Philly, do they just pick Yzerman here? Move back one?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Makes a lot of sense. You know who else feels like a Philly guy?
Who?
Liam Greentree.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Feels just like a Philly guy, and we're going to start getting into some of the other dudes. It's a little high, but Boisvert kind of feels that way.
Here's my thing.
As I think Megan picked him.
Yeah,
at 12 in our
Minnesota,
mock.
or yeah, it would have been Philly, yeah.
Yeah.
If Philadelphia picks Yzerman, is John Tortorella going to have a fit?
Yes. Well, and it won't matter.
Because he'll be long gone.
Yzerman is still a couple years away.
For sure.
And that's, I think Torts is
not going to be here anymore.
Yeah, I think he's 2 years away from his next job, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
These Zeev highlights really hurt.
Yeah.
He's such a smart player. Sees the ice so well.
Yep. Great defenseman on the rush, going the right direction. It's so easy to see how his talents translate, certainly on that side of the puck.
I don't understand why Philly didn't think they needed Zeev, but that's really a great deal for them.
Sure. You pick the guy you were going to pick anyway.
And get a third rounder? Yeah,
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's free money. Free real estate, as they would say.
That doesn't exist anymore.
I don't think it existed back then either.
I guess that's true. Just relatively speaking.
Yeah.
The 90-foot television behind us at Stadium Swim, I see the reflection in the glass across this room, and it keeps causing me to look up, and I think something's happening over there.
Nope.
And it's just probably soccer being played.
Probably.
Oh, it's all kinds of sports.
Philly has not gotten up yet again.
You only get so many timeouts, fellas. This is hockey. You get one timeout.
They're getting up.
God.
They're getting up. It's fine.
A classic Philly-style pick. Dark horse here, Stein Solberg.
I don't think they pick a D, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
The Hammer.
Well, we'll see. We said hi to Keith Jones today. That was fun.
Jonesy.
Yep.
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been on our pod twice. Probably going to be another time here coming up.
Probably not too long,
Yeah, one of these days, sometime in the off season. You had Jonesy and Briere.
There you go. It'd be a fun one.
You think they had to lower the mic for him?
They probably did. The pick is in for Philadelphia. Danny Briere up there in his little suit. And I don't even know who that is. Oh, okay. It's the Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy. Got it. Is he from Philly? Is that...
I'm guessing. He better be, dude. Otherwise, what are we doing here? This is silly. No, we said Michael Bublé, not Michael Buffer. Give us the guy that's on mushrooms.
Oh, that'd be a fun pick. all pickers should be required to be on mushrooms.
This is the only way the only way that we'll do the in-person draft anymore. All celebrity guest pickers. I don't know.
If you're going to make them walk this far, they need to be going like,
especially in the sphere with all the lights and the verticality of it. Yeah. Jeez.
All right. Make the pick.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
He's doing his Michael Buffer voice.
Oh, my God.
He looks so casual doing it.
You ever met Alan Roach?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting experience,
Yep.
isn't it? You're just like, this is just how you talk,
You're
man.
just talking, yeah.
This is crazy. You've made a whole career out of just talking to people. I guess we kind of have too, but not as delightfully.
But not because our voices are just dope.
Yeah.
All right, that is sad for me, but Jet Luchanko is the pick for Philadelphia at 13.
Philly, we're fighting. This is off the board, but I love Jet Luchanko.
Is it off I don't think it's that far off the board. There was a good amount of smoke about him rising in the last week.
Are you taking Jet Luchanko over Konsta Helenius?
No, I'm not taking him at 13. It's a reach, but I don't know if I'd say it's all the way off the board.
This pisses me off, though. I had really walked in today going, I know he's not going to get there, but I want Jet.
Jet projects as maybe one of the best defensive centers in this draft. A fantastic explosive skater. His first two steps are just awesome to watch. I could do it all day. There are some concerns about his offensive upside.
Big time.
Can he finish at the next level? I'm not so sure.
It's interesting because he is a guy that the offense he's been put in such hard defensive roles.
Yeah.
That
can't really blossom out on the other end of the ice.
It's fair to wonder, like, hey, if he wasn't so good defensively, would he be a much better offensive player? Because he'd be playing down there all the time.
Wouldn't give him the shutdown role, yeah.
But we've seen him as I always call him undersized. He's really not that. He's not like a small guy. But you don't think of, I don't know, I think he's more like a Yanni Gourde. Like, give him like a 45-point guy who's excellent defensively.
Takes all your matchups for you.
But the difference being that Luchanko is an explosive skater.
Can put defenses on their heels, for sure.
And a guy like Gourde is
not
quite like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He'd have been fun. I did not think he was going to go this early.
So Buffalo just takes Yzerman, right?
At a certain point.
And they're just like, okay, well, we weren't going to take forwards anymore, but we got Zach Benson last year, and we got Cole Yzerman this year. Like,
what are we supposed to do?
You guys just keep telling us to take forwards for us to farm out to you guys in the postseason when they're good and ready. Sounds great.
Jeez.
Wait, go back up. What?
Yeah, I think they put the wrong graphic on that one.
Okay. I was like, that's not Jet Luchanko.
That's Beckett Seneca.
2 more super chats.
Go for it.
Super chats.
We're at commercial break anyway.
Yeah, I figured. $2 from Dean, who says, "Heart the show. Hope we trade the pick. Not happening." And then $2 from Mason, who said, who says, "Appreciate you doing this tonight. Colton, questionable eyes."
We'll see.
Yeah, so we can just talk about this. The Ross Colton stuff, once we finally landed and settled in today, and I dealt with my little packing emergency and just started hanging out in the hotel room while everybody else was being productive and working, I finally had a chance to actually start texting some people and start talking around. And this Ross Colton thing feels very, very real. Feels very much like everybody is kind of expecting Colton to go at some point, but the target is supposed to be a defenseman. They're looking for a defenseman in return.
And that's where things get murky.
And that's where you move Ross Colton, you need to replace Ross Colton.
Yep.
And this is not a 4C that you're just going to get for $1 million and just be like, hey, we'll just wing it.
Yeah.
Ross Colton gave you 40 points last season. It's going to be hard to replace that production. But the upside of Ross Colton is that he is almost strictly a 5v5 player for you. He does not play PK. He does not really play much on the power play, and he was misused by the Avs anyway. So it makes sense in that if the Avs think that they can go and get a more defensively minded 3C, that'll maybe give them 30 points, but plays on the PK and is more of a matchup guy and can win some freaking face-offs for them. You understand where the appeal would be, especially if they move Colton for a defenseman, where now you start to round out that defensive core where you get a good one. But the fear is there's a lot of conversation about John Marino.
But he still cost almost $5 million.
But he's more expensive than Ross Colton.
Yep.
And now you're going to be spending more money on your third pairing D than you were on your 3C. You don't have enough cap space for that kind of thing. It's just a hard deal to make financially work. Unless unless there's a lot of other machinations that include picks and retained salary elsewhere and blah, 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 blah. That's a really tough sell for me. But Colton getting moved for a defenseman in theory is the goal here.
But it's just theory right now.
Right, and if it ends up being for futures or a pick or something like that, then you know that they're planning that they have to then use they have to use that $4 million to work on the 3C spot and that defenseman that they're after. They would have to know what's coming next. You don't just move him without having the other domino ready to go. That was an accidental rhyme. Sorry.
Luchanko off the board. Buffalo is making their pick here with your boy Lindy Ruff making the pick.
It's your boy Lindy.
At least he came up with everybody else.
Who would even be there, guest guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Casey Middlestat.
That would be
pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, it should be Sam Reinhart.
Cup winner Sam Reinhart. And they skip
So-
over Yzerman as well, but Hellenius does make sense. here.
Constant Hellenius makes perfect sense for them. They have struggled with some of the center depth.
Yep.
Obviously, moving Middlestat for
Doesn't
Byram
help that at all. Yeah.
made that a little tougher. But what you like about Hellenius is that he could be another quick path guy for them, and they don't care if he's not a top 6 guy. Between Cousins and
He
Tage,
can be a third line guy
they
for them. It's
should
perfectly fine. Yeah.
have their first and second line centers already set.
Yep.
But Cousins had kind of an iffy year. Tage kind of had kind of an iffy year. It's kind of a nightmare season for the organization.
It was.
Such high expectations, and they completely fell apart. So getting a guy like Hellenius, where the maturity, the consistency, the work rate, all of those things are excellent for him. And
He's just
a great
so
fit.
projectable as Anton Lundell, similar style of where he plays in your lineup. I'm not saying they're similar. players,
Mikko Koivu, that type of guy.
Yep.
We're not intentionally
Naming all the Finns.
comparing him to specifically Finns, but that type of guy
Yep.
is exactly what Consta Hellenius is. And I think this is just a really good job by the Sabres of saying this is a really good value pick.
Yeah.
This guy just fell.
He
and
was there.
Same thing with Zach Benson last year. Is that really what they need? No.
But he's there.
But it's a guy that fits really, really well for them. And I don't love the idea of using the 14th pick and saying, hey, he's a third-line center. But if he's a really good third-line center and he takes a lot of the pressure away from Thompson and Cousins, and it all works the way that you want it to work in 2 years down the road, you're fine.
Yeah. Things line up.
And there isn't really another guy here that I love. Solberg would have been one that I think would have made sense for what they don't have.
Sure.
With Power, Dahlin, and Byram, they have Matthias Samuelsson as kind of their big and heavy guy. But adding Solberg to that list would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But a lot more of a limited player than Hellenius.
Yeah. With Stolberg, if you drop him into a defense like that, you're basically saying, look, we're going to turn you into a penalty kill specialist, buddy.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to do here. A little conversation at Detroit's bench here.
This feels like Brandsick Nygaard to me, just given their history.
Must Swede at all times.
He's like a secret agent Swede because he's a Norwegian playing in the SHL.
But yeah,
they're gonna get confused. They're not gonna know. Well, it looks like they're writing down. That's draft value.
Yeah. There's some stuff's getting written down on that piece of paper.
Those tables are so close together. Do you think Steve Yzerman just wrote "Eat my balls" and gave it to a table over? Just to a guy that like he used to play with and like has a fun relationship with, and is like.
I hope that's what he did.
That's exactly the kind of shit I would do as a GM, and why I would not make it. I would have a Paul Fenton-like run. It would be a total disaster, and everybody would remember it for all the worst reasons.
Total disaster.
Send him a piece of paper that just says Zuccarello for a lizard. 1 for 1.
If I don't know what. My gosh. I don't.
We're not even halfway done yet, man. We got a ways to go.
Jesus Christ. Keep my mic on so chat can just hear all of my...
Y'all leave me alone. We should be getting to the point where we have to do our Baja Blast.
Okay.
Yeah, we should be getting to that. How would you completely lose your mind if they, like, went crazy here and did, like... A Swedish defenseman, if they took like Fries here or something.
Yeah, if they took Alphonse Frey or Leo Salin Wallenius, it would be bad.
I mean, I don't know why you would even think about taking Wallenius, but
I mean, this is way too early for Frey as well.
I know,
so
but I'm just trying to talk myself into how can they actually take a real Swede.
Yeah, I think it's way likelier that they take like Lucas Pettersson on day 2.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And they can just take the Norwegian in the SHL.
Close enough.
But they're not. I don't know. Honestly, Yzerman's had such a weird week. I don't really know. I don't know what that guy's up to.
Well, I tell you this much: Stamkos ain't signing in Tampa Bay.
All right.
They're gonna pick.
Yeah, we're headed up. All right.
Chat, so the idea is if you get us to 100 likes, which we're at 83, AJ and I really want to go try the alcoholic tall boy Baja
Dude, I'll do
Blast
something.
from downstairs.
Give me something.
I mean, Rudo could just do one with us, or we'll get him like a buzz ball or something.
He doesn't like Baja Blast. He's weird.
Well, he can suck it up for 100
Yeah,
likes.
I'll drink
200
it.
likes. There's 450 of you watching, so...
Yeah.
Soft.
Let's go.
All right, so that's the idea. So, yeah.
And please have Rudo bets that keep his clothes on.
Dude, I don't think I can
it's
do
Vegas.
it today.
Come on.
Oh, we didn't even talk about this, but
We're at 114.
Yzerman taking Yzerman would be tremendous, right?
That'd be kind of funny, yeah. Ugh. The pick is in for Detroit, as long as they don't have anyone walk down the red carpet right now.
All right, I'm going to hit this fucking button.
I'm going to hit this fucking button. Jesus. So aggressive.
This is how I felt the entire time.
They really going to have Lindstrom pick a forward, though? And the pick is...
I think I just saw Brandsick Nygaard. Told you! I told you!
Brandsick Nygaard.
The Swede in disguise, man. This is... God damn, that organization is predictable. Oh, my goodness.
So at what point are we saying Yzerman is falling?
It's real soon.
Okay.
And I swear to God, if he ends up in Chicago.
Brandsick Nygaard for Detroit, maybe the guy with the best motor in the draft this year.
Yeah.
That dude just absolutely works his tail off, and he's willing to get in there in any board battle on the forecheck. He'll do all that stuff. And again, he played in the Swedish Elite League this year.
Yeah.
He was doing it against real competition.
Well,
so.
he's a big body that plays a heavy game. It's very projectable. It's not super high-skilled, but...
He's Logan O'Connor, man. He's Logan O'Connor.
Well, I think he's going to be quite a bit better than Logan O'Connor.
I think he's a better shooter, but...
But you are, I mean, this is a guy that I think should be, I don't know, like a 45-point guy
You know the guy
like bottom
that
barrel.
Logan O'Connor is for 2 weeks every year? That's Brandstad Nygaard.
Okay. All right. I'll allow this. He's just a good all-around player. And, the work rate, the size, the physicality, you see where teams are going crazy for smaller defensemen, and now they're adjusting to it by going and getting a bunch of ultra-competitive forwards that are going to hit them.
Just overpower you.
That are going to hit them.
Yep.
All right, this is how it all works, and that's why a guy like Anton Silyev might be ahead of the curve.
Yep.
All right, Brandstad Nygaard's going to go in on that guy on the forecheck, and Silyev's just going to
stick one arm
put
out.
one arm out onto his helmet and just go, no. And that will be it. Easy breakout. So Detroit remains the world's most predictable organization.
I will say I do
at the draft.
Conceptually pretty short path to the NHL for this guy too, for a team that is trying to turn it into a playoff run right now.
It would, really goes against their organizational ethos.
Yeah, they'd love to let him stir, but
they have aggressively promoted a little more in the last couple of years to varying degrees of success.
Yep.
And I wonder if their appeal here is Brandstad Nygaard's a really high floor kind of guy where
he can get in and help us pretty darn quick. Yeah,
he should make the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
He should be. The upside is the question, but if you have some guys that you think are franchise pieces, and when you're drafting 15th, what are you valuing here? Are you really trying to get? Are you desperate for those guys to be difference makers for you? You're just desperate for good fit glue guys that you can that are going to have upside of could be a top 6 guy if it all goes really well.
Yeah, you got to pick your poison there sometimes, right? You can't always take the home run swing. You can't always play it safe. And Detroit as an organization, if the rumors that are floating around about Detroit are true, it sure sounds like they're getting ready to commit pretty heavily towards making that push to the next level.
Well, and if they go and spend money on just, a Stamkos or a Gensel or, whatever, if they go and spend money on some forwards, then a guy like Brandstad Nygaard on a quick path ELC to be a depth guy, to be a role player for you, makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
But they also have to spend a lot of money on keeping their shitty-ass roster together. Their mediocre roster together.
You also just gave away Jake Wallman.
It's true. So, St. Louis on the clock now. This has been the easiest Stein-Solberg mock.
Big
but another
man hit stuff, go St. Louis.
a guy that we haven't really talked about that would be a good fit at forward for them is Sasha Boisvert.
Yeah, for sure.
Very St. Louis style of player.
How many of those guys can you keep taking, though? Especially when their defense looks like it does.
Yeah, but there's not really a defenseman here that I love.
I agree.
That I love.
I'm not a big fan of Stolberg, to be honest with you.
Stolberg is just I think the World Championships overrated him a little bit.
Yep.
The teen talk for me was too much. If he was there at 24 and the Avs did it, I would be all about it because they need that kind of guy. Ow. My ear suddenly hurts.
Headphoned.
Yeah. Exactly, headphoned. But with the Blues, if they really need a D and you're trying to get an upside play here, Jiricek?
Sure. If you believe in the need is to be okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Blues got the honor of them interviewing Macklin Celebrini the entire time they were on the clock. So
Megan Chayka's list has Kiwi Haudio above Charlie Ellick, and that seems rich to me.
That's a choice.
So she has Igor Surin at 13.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of Surin's name today connected to the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Both Surin and Nikita Artemonov. Both of them.
They would pick someone not on our draft guide, so math adds up.
Yeah. Take Artemonov in that case.
Yeah, at least he's on the guide.
Yeah. Dean Letourneau, a pretty Blues guy, too.
Yeah, that at 16, though, that comes.
Oh, it's too rich, but look, I'm forever scarred by the Jay O'Brien thing.
Fair enough. The St. Louis Blues pick is in, and they do Good call. You're calling it today,
It's
bud.
weird.
You're
I'm
calling it today.
Kind of feeling it a little. So, Jiricek is that kind of like upside guy that was talked about as potentially a top 10, top 5 D this year. Mm-hmm. But the major knee injury and kind of an underwhelming season. He never really fully found his stride, which is a double entendre by me because he's a shitty skater.
He is not great.
And there are some guys we're going to start getting into in this area of the draft that aren't great skaters, but need tweaks to their stride. Jiricek might need a rebuild of the whole thing.
It's pretty rough.
Good size in terms of his height, very slight build though. He's very, very.
He's not going to be a monster, but he can put some pounds on.
Right,
for sure.
but you look at his build and you don't see a lot of. You don't see a really big frame. Where he's at like 170 right now, something like that.
Yep.
And that is probably going to turn into 190 and not 210. And that, to me, 190 is fine.
I think you'd love to see him get to 200, but yeah.
But yeah, that's you're talking about drafting a guy and him needing to put 30 pounds on.
That's a lot.
It's not 30 pounds of McDonald's weight, all right? I got plenty of that. It's 30 pounds of muscle milk, protein. Put on real muscle here, fella. And the crying moms always get me.
Yeah. Here's my problem, and this is of no fault of his own. The Czech league is not great.
Yeah. It's you're like it's okay, right?
Yeah, and you look at a guy who, I get it. He's a teenager playing in a professional league, but the production was virtually non-existent in the limited games that he got into. And I get it, maybe there would have been more there if it wasn't for the knee injury and all of that. But
yeah,
boy, I have concerns about the upside. You talk about not wanting to draft a 15-point player. This might be a 15-point player.
Yeah, absolutely. You need with Jiricek, it's intelligence in his offense.
Yep.
More than just like he's super creative. He's got elite passing. Incredible vision. It's a lot of just reading the ice,
making the simple, correct play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's underrated, sneaky talent. He's really good at that little slip pass in the middle of the ice.
Yep.
In transition, guys cutting in. He sees it really, really well. And
how much offensive transition can he play in the NHL, though?
With that skating of his, it's a very fair question. But a guy that I think could be good with his back to the ice retrieving pucks.
Sure.
Because he's so smart, he's going to understand that when he gets the puck, he knows where he needs to go with it.
In an NHL structure, yeah.
But will he be a good enough skater to work his way out of danger
when the pressure puts on him?
When he can't make that play every single time.
Yeah.
That escapability is not going to be there. It's going to be a real problem for him. And the vision is going to have to be really important because he's not going to have recovery in neutral zone.
Yep.
If he makes any kind of a mistake anywhere.
He won't have the foot speed to make up for it.
You look at some of the forwards that are about to start getting drafted, a Jet Luchanko. Exactly. They're going to go wide on that guy, and Jiricek's going to be spending a lot of time, like a lot of St. Louis Blues defensemen, turning and watching somebody skate away from them.
Yikes.
Got him.
So the perfect blue is what you're saying.
It could be, man. So we're at 17 now. Yep. Starting to get within shouting distance of the Avs pick.
I'll get to a big board at 20.
Okay. Yeah.
Second hand is out.
We're starting to get to the point where I imagine Rudo has to pee.
No, I'm actually good. Sweating it out. Sweating it out.
We're getting to the point where I'm going to need to soon enough.
Yeah, as soon as those Baja Blasts show up, we're all going to have to go.
Honestly, we should probably all try and sneak it in before the Avs pick, because after their pick, we're all busy.
Probably wise, yeah.
Look at me being a little planner over here.
You're smart. You're smart.
Another pick here with Washington. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, is the top target on the board right now, realistic target for the Avs, Chernyshov?
I would have Chernyshov as my number one guy at the moment, yeah.
Washington's going to make their pick.
Another organization that could really use a good physical defenseman in Solberg, but
also if Chernyshov goes right here, I wouldn't even blink.
we talk about identity with Detroit.
Yeah.
I think I took Chernyshov at this spot with this pick in our mock.
Sounds right.
Connolly and Yzerman, both still sitting there, though.
Is Yzerman tempting?
For Washington?
All right, hear me out. You allow this guy to watch Ovechkin play for 2 years, and then you just do the same thing. Just swap in Yzerman. Okay, this is the worst pick of the first round on this this board's opinion.
Landmine avoided.
Glad he's not on the board for Colorado.
Thank you, Washington.
Tarek Parasek.
Of course, we would have said the same thing about Cal Ritchie last year. So what the fuck do we know?
Yeah, you're not wrong, but
That's the fun part of this, though.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Everybody just has an opinion.
look,
We'll see.
if you go look at the box score scouting, you'll come back and call us idiots.
Yeah.
Because the dude produced a bajillion points this year, 105 points in the WHL.
Yeah, played on a really good line.
Yep.
Again, with two guys. My problem is that when I watched him, every single game that I watched, I looked at his two line mates and said, those guys are doing all the work. They're all better than that guy.
My problem is, when I watched him, I watched a guy walk in on WHL defenders who gave him an 80-foot gap all the way down to the hash marks, and then he's like, I guess I'll just shoot it then.
Charlie Ellick could never. He's too big to give an 80-foot gap.
It just, I look at the skills that he brings, and he does have some skills. I think he's actually quite pesky on the defensive blue line. He's pretty good with quick puck touches in an offensive zone structure. He can set up and understand where players are and work with that well. But he's not a particularly good skater.
He's not a good skater. I would just say bad.
Sure.
I hate his skating.
He really doesn't drive a lot of play. He does not play with the puck on his stick a lot.
Yeah.
It's his line mates that are creating the plays, and he's there to finish them or to set up the final pass for the goal off a quick touch.
This, to me, if you're lucky, you're getting a role player here.
Agreed.
I just don't like him. He's not my... He was one of my least favorite guys that I watched. If you watched, or if you read through our guide, I believe he was one of my guys.
No, he was one of mine because I ripped him. Pretty sure.
He had to have been... Okay. We watched, like, all those prospects
Yeah.
in, like, a 2-week span.
We went pretty hard.
So, yeah, whatever. He's just not... Look, he's just not this pod's cup of tea.
It's really hard to project his skills effectively to the NHL level.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard.
The one upside is that he's very likely in the NHL to have two line mates also better than him.
That's true.
So he should be comfortable.
Can't deny that. I just... maybe my biggest problem, and this is a combination of the skating and his lack of puck carrying, he can read space. He understands where space is on the ice and how to get it. But when that space goes away, he can't create it for himself.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's not going to make it happen.
Yep.
Can I shout at the CHGO guys and just ask who they want? Who do you want?
Go for it.
Well, they have headsets on like we do, so
Yeah, they won't hear
I'm
us.
assuming they won't be able to hear us.
Chicago's second pick of the first round. They are on the clock. Well,
Not gonna lie. So the guy that I think like fits how they have been drafting really makes a lot of sense. It's Trevor Connolly.
Yeah.
That speed.
Okay. I'm here for it.
You put that speed next to an Oliver Moore,
Yeah.
Connor Bedard, obviously.
Another
An
high-end
elite playmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
Elite playmaker. That, obviously with Trevor Connolly, there are a lot of off-ice issues, and when he gets picked, we'll get more into it. But, all right, with a minute to go.
Bettman is at the bench.
Yeah.
But we're doing Skycam stuff, so I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, dude? They're all still chilling.
Yeah, they don't look like they're working too hard, that's for sure.
Us either. Relatable.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Yeah. What? You talking shit?
Just turn your mic on, Tiff. Everyone wants to hear you talk shit.
You talking shit?
I said fuck once and Kale turned off my mic.
Yeah, he reached over and was like, we're out. And I'm like, do you know how I talk?
Look,
I don't even know what I said.
the
But
NHL was making pee and shit jokes at their awards ceremony. So.
Dude.
yeah, that's true. Well, maybe they'll take for frickin' ever. Okay, so let's do more super chats. I got $2 from Rugby Professor. Thanks for doing this, guys. Does Druin happen?
I think so.
I also am inclined to think so, but I think they want to get the Ross Colton defensive whatever sorted out before they commit that money. I would imagine they probably already know
Just to know the
what it
balance
looks
of
like.
it,
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
But they've got some work to do.
We do have a pick coming in for Chicago.
Yeah, no, for
Chicago.
sure.
Good luck.
A guy who's definitely going to get interviewed and no one's going to know who he is again. And they go with Boisvert.
All right. That was a pick early. Two
One
picks
too
early.
soon.
Yeah. With Boisvert, you're talking about the exact opposite of Oliver Moore.
Yep.
You know, who's pure
Not a good
speed.
skater at all.
And Boisvert's not. He's more plotting. It's more of like an awkward stride. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not fast.
I think there are some fixable things in his stride. I do.
That's the opposite of what we were talking about with the Juracek, where you get him with a skating coach. I think it'll be fine in the NHL.
But more importantly, the style of game Boisvert plays does not require a super high foot speed.
Yeah.
He's functioning as a power forward style, able to play physically, can protect the puck well, is really good along the boards, which is why I think he's a wing.
He does not look amped, does he?
He doesn't look super psyched. But a guy who has a lot of the check marks, is a good goal scorer. You know, he's not Cole Iserman level shooter, but
Yeah.
a guy who can finish for you for sure.
So we're starting to get into Iserman we talked about being a guy that we thought could fall on draft day because a goal-scoring only wing who doesn't do a ton else. Holy fuck, that's big.
Guys, we're so close.
Jesus.
We're at 183.
That is large. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, there's zero sugar in this?
Even better.
Sign me up.
They
Amazing.
replaced 100% of the sugar with alcohol.
Oh, fuck.
Which is sugar. So,
That is an excellent point.
frick. As soon as we hit 200, we'll crack it open.
100 calories per 12 fluid ounces. There's like 600 ounces in the. Oh, it's 24.
There's like 600 ounces in here.
Look at this thing. It's a fucking beef bus.
Beef butts.
Schmeat.
Yeah, Drake is like, I'm very familiar. So we've reached the part of the draft where we talk about penises, because what else is going on right now?
Yay.
Vegas is on the clock, allegedly.
So Vegas here, I've said some good villain on villain crime here. Trevor Connolly in Vegas would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I
Also-
definitely can see that.
Stein Solberg would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Just as a big defenseman.
Yeah, no, I'm sighing because I think if there was a team that could make Stein Stolberg good, it'd be him.
All right, AJ, crack it.
I shouldn't have nervously bit my nails on the flight today.
All right.
Oh!
Swig. Cheers, gentlemen.
Thank you for the likes, chat. We do appreciate it a ton. Enjoy you
That
guys hanging
is-
out with us.
Delicious.
I might have to help AJ
I got a burp.
drink that
No.
one.
There we go. That's
What a
fine.
beverage.
Yeah. I don't really taste any alcohol in it. It just tastes like zero sugar
Just
Baja Blast.
Dangerous.
Huh. I don't know. 5%? In that can?
We have a super chat or two more to get
Yes,
to, too.
we do.
Right?
We had 2.99s from Spence, who just
he
from
just gives us
Spence.
dollars.
And then $2 from Freagle D, who says Colton for Urho
Vakanainen.
Yes, Vakanainen. I was like, I literally just looked up how to say his name. And a third?
No.
Question mark?
Absolutely
No.
not.
And
No
then,
interest.
Urho Vakanainen is like hanging on to a job barely in the NHL.
Yep.
And then $10 from Zach. Colorado is proud to select Hawk. Damn it. I fell for that.
Hawk Tua!
Yeah,
Hawk
I
Tua.
fell for that. I
Oh.
fell for that so hard. Hawk
Get you
Tua.
baited.
I got baited. Got Hawk Tua baited.
So have said so many men over the years. So, yeah. All right. That looks pretty cool on the sphere.
It does look pretty sick.
Oh, man.
If you get to 20 and Chernyshov's still there, do you start believing a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're getting closer and closer to Chernyshov, so knowing that they always draft a guy that I'm iffy on.
All I'm saying is at least let the Avs break my heart and pick someone else instead of the team before them picking the guy that I want.
We're just watching people talk. I guess that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, that's what everyone who watches us, that's what they do. All right, Vegas, go entirely off the board and take some guy I've never heard of.
We'll just start having this conversation.
Okay.
If Yzerman gets there,
I'm down at 24.
I mean, you can live with the downside because he could just be an unreal
Yeah.
goal scorer
Like-
for you.
The shot is that good, man. Like,
Yeah. Well, and I think he's got a good work ethic. Like, I think he really,
I think so too.
I think he wants to do the work, and
I just don't think the defensive side of the game is ever going to be all that good. But everything else, if he can get the skating up to good enough, if he can get the offensive sense up to good enough,
I think trying to put this together here, just, the obvious candidates, but Michael Hage would be a very Vegas pick too.
he would be Vegas-y. And they have some ties with Chicago as well. The Steel, that is.
Yeah.
All right, the pick is in for the Vegas Golden Knights, no longer Stanley Cup champions.
Hell yeah.
Happens to the best of us. And they do go with Trevor Connolly, villain mode, engage. AJ can't miss today.
So with Connolly, the only reason that he's on the board at this point is there's 3 big pockmarks here in this profile, okay? The first one came when he was in a library and he took a picture of, I don't remember if it was blocks or books, I can never remember, arranged in the shape of a swastika, and he tagged it Creations, which... Not great.
Not great.
And then the second incident was he was accused of using a racial slur against an opposing player and was suspended for it. The suspension, I believe, was reversed because nobody could ever corroborate that it happened, and he continues to deny it while admitting other issues. And the third one is that he has a serious attitude issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that is always a really big no-no in the NHL.
Yeah.
So that's why he's sitting here. But
The actual on-ice talent is absolutely there.
yeah, slow path.
For sure.
Not going to college right away.
Mm-hmm.
Will be going to Providence when he gets there. At the moment, Providence. But slow path for a very fast player, though, because he is a burner, electric skater,
he can
electric hands, and a wonderful playmaker. This would have been a top 10 pick, I think, pretty easily, in my opinion.
Without the off-ice stuff.
Yeah. And I've always thought he was very comparable to Trevor Zegras.
Sure.
That kind of creativity and the playmaking ability really jumps off the ice. A good shot. has the kind of skating and just electricity in straight line speed that like Trevor Zegras does not possess.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of off-ice stuff that has to be kind of worked out. But definitely, if you're an organization like Vegas, you're not expecting to pick very high very often. You just got an electric talent that you otherwise would not have had a shot at.
It's just tough for me because, look, these are kids. Sometimes they do really stupid stuff. They don't understand what they're doing. Shit happens. I get that. But if you try to come into a professional organization and your attitude does not take coaching well, you're done. It's just not going to work. Yeah,
I would not have had Connolly on my board because you can look at the first two incidents that I mentioned in a certain light and feel however you're going to feel. Mm-hmm. But when you throw an attitude issue on top of all of that, it doesn't suggest that there's a dude that you necessarily think is learning from mistakes.
Yeah.
And that makes me really nervous. The swastika thing is obviously incredibly stupid and offensive and horrible. And we've talked about it is a privilege to play in the NHL. It is a privilege to get drafted into the NHL.
Yep.
There are a lot of guys that would love this opportunity, and that's dumb. The racial slur, again, could never be corroborated.
Yep.
So
is that even real?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
How much weight does that carry? The attitude thing is very real.
Yeah.
And is ongoing. This is not something that you're saying, well, this happened 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. This is ongoing.
Yeah.
And we saw in a big game, gold medal game, gets thrown out of it for boarding a guy because he's dumb.
Arguably
just a dumb
cost
play.
them that game.
Yeah. And so, with Connolly, there are very real problems here.
Yep.
But in it is a really, really exciting hockey player if he can ever get his head screwed on straight. So, I don't know.
Yep.
I never know how to properly talk about these things because I'm just like, I always think I'm going to fuck it up.
They're fine.
But
don't think there's anything wrong with what you said there, but we'll see.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think it's the Mitchell Miller thing all over again because Mitchell Miller actively bullied a kid for years, a special needs kid for years. Never apologized to him, only apologized to the NHL teams interviewing him.
Yep.
And only ever started to do the work or whatever well after the fact. And it wasn't a thing for him on draft day until after he got drafted and people got pissed about it.
Yep.
And then his rights got renounced. So I don't think it's like the Mitchell Miller thing, which that was not great.
Yeah, it was a whole different.
I mean, it was gross, man. It really was just not.
Yep.
I didn't like it. Anyway,
the Islanders are gonna pick.
Yep, the Islanders are about to pick. God damn.
Dude just unbuttons the buttons like that, huh? He knows it.
Whatever. This is gonna make me drink.
If you got it, flaunt it, I guess.
I have no feeling
for the Isles.
God.
You gonna make it through that, buddy?
Yep. I have no feeling about this. Like, I really have no idea where this could go.
He could say any name, and I'd just be like, well, it's Lou.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they take Surin so I don't have to worry. I'm really stressing that he's Colorado's guy and he's not in our guide.
That's life sometimes.
I've been stressing about it for a week, and I didn't do anything about it when I had the chance. So,
such is life. Yeah, there goes Yzerman at 21.
20.
Oh, it's 20. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, this is okay. This saves me the anger of the Avs passing on him, I guess. And he goes to my Isles. So cool.
I mean, about as far as you could really have expected him to fall, to be honest.
Yeah, it is a little further than I truly expected, but had it gone on much longer, I would have been confused.
Any further, and you're like, okay, why aren't teams taking him?
Yeah. And the conversation around him is very, very simple.
Yep.
This is not this is not a character question. This is a guy that just he shoots pucks at an elite level.
Yep.
And every other aspect of his game needs work.
Yep.
I mean, 58 goals in 57 games is a joke. He's been a goal per game player for the last 2 years. He broke Cole Caulfield's
Goal scoring record.
goal scoring record, which I thought was going to last the rest of my lifetime. It lasted like 2 years.
Something about kids named Cole at the USN
Yeah.
TV, man.
It really, like, he is a wonderful goal scorer. And unlike Caulfield, does not have the same size questions.
Yep.
But it is the rest of his
Got
game.
the everything
Can-
else question, yep.
Can he process it? Can he play make? His playmaking is really not very good. He doesn't play with a lot of physicality. He does not play a lot in the defensive zone.
Yep.
But the guy gets to the net and understands how to score.
Yep. He can do it from everywhere on the ice.
Everywhere.
Shots that good. He has the getting to the net side of the power forward down. If you can get this guy just to keep his motor on, he'll find some NHL games. He will. And if you get the rest of his game to round out, the dude's going to be a premier goal scorer in the NHL. Can you get him there, though? Some of that stuff needs a lot of work, man.
Yeah, should be a generous estimate. Feels like 30.
Yep.
Because he should be a focal point on a power play. He should play, even if he's a second line guy, he should play
Top power play in the launch puck spot.
He should play 15 minutes even strength a night. Like, he's going to have to learn how to round out his game. He just has to. And we could talk more about Cole later when Eric gets here.
He's his guy for sure.
Yeah. But, oh, my legs are starting to get really stiff.
Yep.
I might have to, oh, man, that knee is locked up. Yeah. Okay. I might need to take a quick break and just kind of wander around.
Do what you got to do. I can hold it down. Montreal, once again on the clock for a pick that they just recently traded up for, but not during the draft, because why would you do that? Why would you make the draft interesting? Who would do that?
It's been a fun draft, though.
It has been a good draft.
We're
There's a
starting
lot
to
of
get into that,
interesting picks.
like, I will believe any pick that comes off the board at this point. There
Yep.
not anything that, God, Banneker is another guy that I'm nervous about.
And we need Cern and Vanaker to go 21-22, and then we're chilling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. I didn't mean to make you say that 3 times.
By the way, as we're waiting for the next pick to come in, you may or may not have heard that Nathan McKinnon won a Hart Trophy the other day. We kind of made a shirt about that. All I'm saying is we may have had this shirt idea kicking around for half a decade,
True.
but now we can actually use it. So make sure to go over to the DNVR locker, check out our new Mac Plays with Heart shirt, and all of our other stuff, too. Maybe have the button ready to get the Halifax Homies shirt if Druin resigns. Sick ad. Draft is going to get weird now. You get through the top 20, and teams' boards really start to diverge at this point. The guys at the top of boards are going to be wildly different.
Yep.
Maybe that breaks the Avs' way. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, and I think that I don't know, I'm trying to look at this board and try and figure it out. But I think I'm starting to transition into caring about Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, look, there are 3 picks left. Unless they go Hage, Chernyshov, Greentree, one of those 3 will be available.
Yeah. Well, and you do wonder about Solberg.
For sure.
Like, that's a guy that Colorado picks. Is a very interesting addition to your pipeline.
Unique For sure.
And I have no idea what that timeline looks like, which is one of the big uncertainties there of,
Yeah.
he's going to play in Norway again? Like, then what?
Do you move him over in Europe? Do you try and bring him to America? If you
Yeah.
bring him to the U.S., are you playing him in juniors or are you playing him in the AHL? Like,
Yeah.
There's a million choices.
Yeah.
Anyway, Montreal's pick is in, and
Okay.
as I say it, there goes Michael Hage. I'm okay with this. I didn't like Hage as much as some of the other people on the DNVR beat, so
I liked him and love him.
sure.
But I'm also okay with somebody else.
There are other options, too.
Yeah. Would have been a weird fit in Colorado, which is what we talked about when we picked him in our mock the other day.
Yeah.
Was we're taking him because we think he's BPA, but not necessarily BPA for the Avs.
Do a lot of the things that the Avs do, especially on the offensive side. But yeah, also a guy that's, 3 years away at least, probably.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. But
So.
good size, and you're hoping that he's going to be a guy that plays down the middle.
Yep. I definitely think you're wanting to keep him at center. The size does help. He's got some goal-scoring ability and can distribute as well. Does like to play with the puck. I do wonder about some of the foot speed and things like that.
So,
But-
Nashville next at 22. Mm-hmm. I wonder all the Ross Colton conversation. I think a first-round pick for Ross Colton would be crazy, but I wonder if there's,
Some other pieces involved.
Yeah. I'm just thinking out loud. This isn't even me working a phone or anything.
Sure.
That would just be too rich for that blood. It'd have to be a bigger deal, but,
Well,
they pulled off a sneaky one to end up with 2 firsts last year. I wonder if they could do something like that
it's always
this
possible.
year. End up with 22 and 24. In which case, take Chernyshov and Solberg.
I'm good with it. If you told me they'd get that at the start of today, I'd have said, hell yeah.
A power forward and a
Hulking D.
ultra physical
Yeah.
defensive defenseman.
Do you think anyone actually watches the outside of the sphere? Like, I know they have the cameras for it, but how many people are sitting outside watching the sphere?
Could you imagine if you don't know anything about the NHL and you're just watching the sphere and you're like, what the hell is going on? It just keeps changing. What are these logos? Like it makes sense when it's like an eye that just looks around or whatever.
Sure, but just like
Winking at you and shit.
random children walking up onto a stage, just putting jerseys on.
Yeah.
Like, what the?
Yeah. We're getting a name that's up on this list that I think is like the perfect Nashville Predator here that we haven't talked about much is Cole Baudouin.
Sure.
Who's Cole Baudouin.
I
I've heard his name pronounced 1,000 times, and every time I do it, I stumble over it.
We're not.
I don't know what it is. I'll let Eric tell me how to do it. But Ryan O'Reilly 2.0.
I don't think he's that good, but I get what you're saying.
That's not what I meant to do.
If you're looking for a guy you're hoping that translates as a shutdown defensive forward for you,
Yeah.
for sure. Adds that, has some grit to his game. Won't be... If you didn't like the way Jet Luchanko defends as a forward, maybe you like Cole Baudouin's way of defending better. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah. You talk about a motor, though. That's a maximum try
For
hard.
sure. He's always going.
And some offensive upside. I don't... I didn't ever think Ryan O'Reilly was going to score 70 points in a season.
Fair.
So,
Fair.
like, and I think he's only done it once. So
Neither did any NHL team because he went the second round. So
yeah, and his big concern was skating. He just and I don't say he feels like the perfect Predator because Ryan O'Reilly's already there. I feel that way because Barry Trotz loves those types
has
of
a
guys.
type for sure.
Loves those types of guys, and the last couple of years we've seen, under David Poile, obviously, but you see that kind of try-hard grit with Zachary Leroux. It has not gone well when they took the really speedy, skilled guy in Tomasino.
Has it not gone well, or do they just not like playing him?
What's the difference?
Fair enough.
I also wonder, just again thinking out loud, if that guy could be part of a
I'm interested.
Colton deal.
I'm interested for sure.
You want to talk about fitting Colorado.
Yeah.
And I've loved Tomasino since his
There's
draft year.
definitely upside as a 3C there.
And if not, that could be your Logan O'Connor replacement.
Sure.
If he can pick up the defensive part of the game.
Of course.
I'd love it to be a Miles Wood replacement.
Well,
Whatever.
can't always get what you want.
We'll just let this be.
I need them to pick something crazy. We haven't seen any true, out
been a while.
of thin air picks. We've seen reaches, but not who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, and I don't think since Jet Luchanko have we had a whoa kind of moment.
Yeah.
And that was a minor whoa. I thought he was going to go 18 to Chicago.
Yeah. I had him at around 20 as well.
Do you think that this is still... we're just going to keep talking about him because he was such a fast riser in so many conversations, but Solberg, I don't know. Nashville has taken so many defenders
Yep.
over the years that it's easy to just be like, they'll just take a defenseman.
They'll do it again.
Yeah.
Why not?
They'll take a defenseman. It's fine. And he might be the best one left on the board. Him and, I think, Charlie Illick.
Yeah, I would take Ellick of that next pack of guys. I would put Ellick at the top. But
Is there a guy that we're really... Chernyshov was my first favorite prospect that I really had a hankering for.
sure.
Boisvert was probably my first that I was like, oh, I really like him.
And then I got over it.
And then I liked him less as this went on. Green Trees... meh.
He's fine. Wouldn't be my favorite pick, but I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah. I need him also not to be drafted by Colorado just because we didn't have a Colorado angle on him in the guide.
We just had him in there, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Barry.
Yeah.
The pick is in for Nashville. He's going to thank his mother and his mother's mother and his baby mama. I don't know who else.
And Miss Jackson.
And Miss Jackson. All right, Barry. Okay, they got guys making the pick.
You got debated again.
Come on, man. Come on. We don't need all this. Just yell names at each other for 2 hours.
Yell names at each other.
The pick is Surin, so we're saved from that one. Whew. Could still end up with Vanna. I don't know how to say that. Vanacek?
Oh, Vanaker?
Vanaker. That's what it is. Thank you.
Yeah, who was on my first pass at a big board. It didn't end up...
It's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. It was the last second cut for no good reason. 2 years in a row, though, that Nashville has kind of swooped in on guys Colorado really liked because they were big on Tanner Molendyke last year.
Yep.
And I had heard Surin's name a lot this year.
Certainly Nashville
this year, today.
Nashville not an organization afraid of picking Russians either. They've always been cool with doing that.
Another one coming up here in Toronto, where an Igor Chernyshov would make a lot of sense as a power forward.
It would make a lot of sense for them. You're not wrong.
Especially under Treliving.
Yeah, I don't know. Nashville's case with Surin here.
He was not my favorite. Evan Ralph freaking loves him.
Yeah.
He was just off of it.
Russian juniors is a weird league.
It makes me super nervous.
Yeah. And it's not to say that there aren't good players there. There aren't players that I even like that come from Russian juniors. There's plenty of that. But especially under the current climate, geopolitically, it's really, really hard to gauge some of these guys against, truly their international peers. And that leaves you in a spot where, I'll put it to you this way. historically, Russians tend to create players that, hey, they can do the offensive stuff. You see a lot of high talent guys come out of Russia on the offensive side, particularly good goal scorers, and the defensive side is almost entirely optional. Don't love that.
Do you think the way that this board has fallen, that we could be primed for an Avs move back? Because there are several guys that would be good fits for Colorado here.
There is nothing confirmed, but there is some rumors going around on Twitter from both Jesse and Evan that the Avs might be doing something, and it might be involving Utah.
So Utah has a bajillion. Oh my God, they're gonna trade out of the fucking first round.
They might.
I'm about to punch a baby in its soft spot. Because they have 800 second-round picks.
Yeah, they have 11 in the next 3 years, for the record.
And the Avs have none. I didn't want them to move back like that.
Yeah, I wanted them to stay
Especially
in the
because
first.
you know what that's going to do to our tomorrow? We have to get up now.
Yeah, now we're going to have to get up for that 8:30 start if they do that. So
Son of a biscuit. Okay, I mean, when you put it like that, it actually sounds incredible. I didn't mean to look at you like you had a bad idea. I just hadn't thought of it yet.
Could we just do our whole show from our beds?
That would be
Like-
I wish we had brought pajamas. I'm going pajama shopping after this.
Oh my God.
I feel like instead of your guys' normal Blues Brother getup, you guys should get like a hotel robe, like a Circa robe. We'll find somebody to give you guys one. You guys can have some breakfast in bed and start the watch along that way. I feel like this is a great idea.
All right. Hear me out.
Anaheim is moving up
with Toronto.
with
Yeah.
This is about to get wild, huh?
This draft might be about to pop off, fellas. I don't know what to tell you. Hear me out. If it's with Utah, is Juuso Välimäki on the table?
Please be on the table.
I'm saying I'll move from the first to the second for Juuso Välimäki.
The funny thing is you and I were sitting in the room earlier today
Just speculating.
spitballing
Yeah.
some Ross Colton things that would make sense to us, and one of them was Ross Colton with Utah
Yep.
and Juuso Välimäki and Nick Bjugstad.
Yep.
If you were to split up Ross Colton's $4 million into Nick Bjugstad and Juuso Välimäki, it's a really good use of that money.
Yep.
I don't know where 24 comes into this.
Making the fineries of it work is definitely not going to be easy. The Leafs pick up a late second for moving back from 23 to 31 with Anaheim, for the record. It's a 58. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, trade graphic.
Hit the trade graphic.
Trade graphic.
Jackpot,
That thing's so
baby.
cool. Dwayne showed it to me the other day, and I was like, "This is rad. I hope I get to use it." I would have really liked that deal for Colorado to move back to 31 to get 31 and 58 for 24.
You stay in the first and you pick up an
Yeah.
extra pick.
Nerd.
We're all hockey nerds here.
Oh, totally.
Who are you? Is this a move for Chernyshov?
I think it's to me.
Anaheim gets 23 and 58 for 30. Or Anaheim gets 23. Toronto gets 31 and 58.
Yeah. A very Ducks pick would be Baudouin, but do they need another center?
Do they need to trade? Is it Stolberg because he's that D left? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, they loved Silyev at 3.
yeah.
They get like a 80% of Silyev
in
Solberg, yeah, where... Oh, God, I forgot they picked Beckett Seneca already. Blah.
Yeah, this is interesting. Who are they so desperate to trade up and get?
Yeah. Yeah, Solberg would make a lot of sense.
Definitely don't feel like the Ds that you want might not be there at 31.
Yeah. I wonder if the Avs saw somebody that they really wanted come off the board and just said, we're
out,
dude.
Yeah. They saw Surin come off the board and they said, we're done. We're moving back.
You know who'd be a really good Av?
Who?
Sean Dursey.
He would be a really good Av. I'm down.
I mean, Valimaki makes way more sense for like what they could really,
stylistically,
what they really
sure.
need.
But Dursey would be fun.
Yeah.
The pick is in for the Anaheim Ducks. Let's see who they actually end up taking.
Dude, could you imagine? You add what their goaltending coach announced the pick?
He was the guy who had cancer. It was Solberg, rather.
All right, so Stein, Solberg makes sense.
Yep, to move up like that,
Yeah.
it really seemed like the D that was there was what convinced them to do it.
All right, I just want to take a quick look at here at Utah's picks, just out of curiosity.
How many seconds they got?
How many seconds do I got to look this up?
3 plus a 8-minute timeout, possibly.
Yeah. So they have 3 this year, 4 next year, and 3 in 2026.
That's a lot of picks.
So their first second rounder then should be 38.
Sure.
Doing quick math here.
I don't know whose it is.
Utah's.
Oh, their own?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would be
And
38.
then after that it's Florida and
So those are,
Washington.
like Washington's like 50 and Florida's 62 or 64.
64. Yeah. All right. Well.
Boy. I don't know what to expect out of this trade. I have hopes. If it's a pure pick trade back, I don't understand it. I'll put it that way.
Okay. We have a deal with the Avs happened.
Yeah, but what is it?
Yeah, we just don't know what it is yet. This is stressful. Kale's face is my face.
I'd be a little disappointed if it's a pure pick for pick trade back.
Yeah, I mean, dropping all the way down to 38. What else would you be getting? And would they seriously be using that pick? I don't know.
The Colorado Avalanche pick in the second round, sir.
They have not made one since Sean Barron's. Right?
Yeah, that would be the last second. Tiff, I think you're safe to throw the trade graphic up for the Avs here.
Yeah.
It is indeed with Utah.
Yeah.
We'll see what it all ends up being. We don't know yet, so we're about to freak out, probably, one way or another.
Oh, it's a pick deal.
It's pure picks.
Blech. I don't know. I didn't do any of my homework on the second round, hoping this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, this is.
I didn't almost like any homework, but it was
tough
just
for
like.
us. This is tough for us for sure.
Give us Tej.
That'd be funny. He's a pick, technically.
Oh, shit. That's a huge deal in terms of picks. They get 38, 71, and the Rangers' second rounder in 2025.
So you end up with 2 second rounders and a third.
And then, like a early third.
Yeah, sure. Top 10 third.
Oof. So you get, for the 24th pick, you're going to get 2 second rounders?
One's in 2025.
Right.
But
And so now you have a second rounder this year, 2025, and 2026? You just restocked all the second rounders they never used.
There's no chance in a million years they're picking in 2025 in the second round. That thing's getting moved.
The only thing that sucks is now we're doing a draft show with no freaking pick.
We can do a recap show with no pick.
Yeah, that's tough. The recap show just got really tough.
Come on. It's fine.
I don't love it. I don't hate it.
I'm now rooting even more against the Rangers.
It's true. You move back.
I'm disappointed that they don't like Chernyshov as much as I do.
You move back to 14 picks.
Look, this opens up my Dominic Badinka dream.
For a second and a third.
And another second.
That's the 14 picks you move back.
Yeah, but the 2025 second counts.
Yeah, you move back 14 picks for a second and a third.
Yeah, okay. But it's a late first.
Yeah. Is it the worst trade ever? No. Do I feel like I would have rather had it be a first-round pick? Also, yes.
Okay. Enrique. Texting me to say I went to Vegas for nothing. Rude. Rude. All right, well, I guess we're just going to hang out for the rest of the time. I'm going to go pee. I need to go to the bathroom. Do you need to pee?
Yeah, we'll
go
get there.
do your thing.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
Go do your thing. I'm not the one with the tiny bladder.
All
Be a man about it.
All right. It's not like I'm going to miss an Avs pick. So
yeah, straight up.
Hang on. Give me 1 minute. I want to see who Utah takes with this.
Yeah, I am also curious. I mean, that's what you do with second rounders, though. I would prefer for them to use I would prefer to use second rounders on players, like NHL players.
Honestly,
like what the Avs have been doing.
I feel like the outcome of this trade is just that the draft day is going to end, and in the middle of our recap show, the Avs are going to make another trade. That's what this trade feels like to me.
Shut up, Rudo. Needs to.
Cool. It will probably be after this pick, to be honest.
Sorry, this is really thrilling stuff as we both text.
Yeah, we're like, we actually have to do our job for a couple seconds.
The focus switched a little bit for a minute there.
All right. There goes Baudouin. That's who they picked. Utah did at 24. So.
All right. Baudouin.
Ooh.
All right. Well, I mean, that sucks for Megan.
Yeah, tough day for her to sit there for 24 picks and then nope.
Nope. Makes tomorrow way more interesting because now, at the moment, tomorrow they have now a pick in the second round, the third round, the fourth round, 2 in the fifth round, 1 in the sixth, and 2 in the seventh.
It's going to be a busy day.
A very busy day all of a sudden. And now Dev Camp gets way interesting.
That's true. A lot more guys there until they pick a bunch of Russians that don't come, but. We fighting?
I found the baby with the soft spot that I wanted to hit. Is this dude. God damn
There's
it,
enough
man.
injury lawyers in this state that I wouldn't do that.
Seriously, this is the wrong city to threaten somebody on air. Holy smokes, these billboards are overwhelming.
All right. We'll change places here, do a little do-si-do. I'll be back in a minute, chat.
Yeah, do super chat. Which button is it? The bright red one? Since I'm just hanging out, I'll push it.
What button am I pressing?
The bright red one that has her muted?
Yes.
Number 4.
4. Yeah.
See? I got this.
Wow. Look at that.
Look at me go.
Woo, getting laggy. Love this.
Oh, perfect.
What? Oh, yes. Here you go.
You're going like this. I was like, are you asking her for money?
Yes, Rudo's asking
Like, I
me
know
for
she's new pod
money.
mom, but geez, you don't get an allowance with it.
I gave Kale my credit card, and now you want it? Jesus. All right. Trivia question from Dean. Don't cheat. 10 Avs players that are in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Which one has played least number of games with the Avs?
Can you repeat the question?
So if
Sorry.
there's 10 Avs players in the Hockey Hall of Fame, which one has played the least number of games with the Avs?
I'm going to guess Yari Curry.
Okay, we'll see if that's right. Okay. Oh, and that was $5 from Dean. Thank you, Dean. $28 from the amazing Drew. Hope you guys are having an awesome time
Yeah.
in Vegas. I know it's draft day, but with the Colton rumors, is there a specific D-man you'd really like?
Yusuf Alamaki would be great. Honestly, it's such a wide net around the league because you'd be looking for a cost-effective third pairing guy. It's really hard to say. I know somebody brought up Urho Vakanainen earlier. I really like him. I think he's an interesting non-QO candidate. QOs are due Sunday, by the way. So we will know what the unqualified RFA market looks like when those guys become UFAs. I would not want Vakanainen in a Colton deal, but he is a guy. He's a UFA, so this, again, isn't a Colton deal, but I love Alexander Carrier and would really like to see him as a righty with some offensive punch in Colorado would be really interesting. Honestly, pick a RFA out of that Utah group. I find all those guys interesting. I love Brendan Dillon. That's just a UFA deal. That's not any kind of a trade, but I really like the idea of Brendan Dillon in Colorado as kind of a rugged third-pairing guy where you're not so obsessively attached to Josh Manson the entire time because you're like, man, but he's so physical and he's so big and mean. Like, it gives you another guy that brings that dimension, and he showed last year in Winnipeg. There's still a little bit of offense there. The goals are a joke. Don't ask him to do that again, but still can play a little bit of offense as well, and can handle a strong role. He's still a good, solid defenseman. This is hard to do. Blind. I just want to know if I'm right about Yari Curry.
I haven't seen Dean yet. He might have answered like way before because that super chat was from before. But
oh shoot!
He'll come back. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Okay. $2 from Avalanche Advocate. Who do you guys want for the Avs now?
So two guys. I just tweeted this out, but two guys that I know the Avalanche have really liked that would make a lot more sense at 38 than they did at 24. Nikita Artemanov, who was the teammate in Torpedo this year of Nikolai Kovalenko, and Matvei Grigin, who was a line mate with Sasha Boisvert in Muskegon. So those are two guys that they've really liked that I think would make a lot of sense. You start getting into my personal target in that area would be Dominic Badinka. I really like him. I really liked him at 24, but I thought that was probably a little rich for my blood. Good size, right shot defenseman that played all season played most of the season in the SHL, and is a guy that I seem to love a lot more than others. But that would be a guy that I would keep an eye on. But for right now, I would definitely be looking at Artemanov and Grigin as two of my main targets here. Andrew Basha, if he makes it, I love Andrew Basha. He would be such a great fit as an Av, as his speed would play, and as drafting him 38th overall, I would be a lot less concerned about his inability to shoot a puck than at 24. if for whatever reason the entire NHL loses its goddamn mind and they don't want Igor Chernyshov, I would be cool with that too. That sounds fun. I love him, so. Will he get past Boston, though? Because Boston's fun. And then you get into a couple of the Swedish guys. I know that Linus Eriksson has had a lot of late helium here, and people really like Lucas Pettersson. I don't have a strong feeling about him. So, you know. You know who would be a good Boston Bruin?
Who?
Liam Greentree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're on their way up. Look who's back.
Also, any of these big defensive defensemen, all those guys would be good Bruins. Thank you, sir. We'll head down there. I'll hang out for this pick. We didn't talk about Beaudin at all. Beaudin. Jesus Christ, I just can't say his name.
He plays for the little brother team, so we don't need to talk about him.
Yeah.
There goes Luchanko.
Oh, God. You want to talk about a Boston Bruins pick?
Okay.
Jeez, is that ever a Bruin?
I pick a large man from St. Andrews College.
Big strong.
I pick a strong man.
All right, I will be right back. I also have to use the facility, so your turn, Rudo.
Yeah, Letourneau, obviously a gigantic human being, but the only player coming out of prep school for this one. And he's really, really raw, as you might expect. The path is not going to be a short one for him when it comes to getting to the NHL level in Boston. I was never a particularly huge fan of him. Those longer path prospects always scare me a little bit, especially with a first-round pick. But he's got some pretty nice tools, and when you put that in a 6'7" body, if he puts it together at the next level, if he proves he can go and do it at the college level, the NCAA college level, you could be looking at a guy who ends up as a huge win for Boston at a pick at 25. Oh, I'm still reeling from the Avs trade. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it entirely. So, we'll see. I would be a little disappointed if the Avs don't have other moves at play. Not necessarily tonight. Maybe it ends up being tomorrow or whatever. But if they just make a second and third round picks and chill with it, it's not that it's a bad trade. Like, that's perfectly fine value for the most part. The Avs need to flesh out their prospect pool a little bit, so in that sense, more picks is better. Who knows what will still end up being on the board at 38? There could well be a guy that I really like there. But not having a first rounder still smarts a little bit. It may not even be that big of a talent gap, honestly, but it feels big. I'll put it to you that way. Interesting that it is Utah, too, because that is a in-division team that you decided to give up that pick. And, Beaudoin's a handful of years away, so it's not like that is an immediate issue for you. And it's Utah who still needs to prove that they can get to that next level. But just turned the last half of this draft into a lot more boring than I was expecting it to be for Colorado. Unless they do something else, which is possible, I guess, but I'm not expecting it during the first round. They might do it after. Probably won't do that either, but maybe we get lucky. I don't know. We'll see. LA on the clock next, as I'm curious to see if this next run of D starts in this first round. I don't know if people will start dipping into the Ellicks, the Badinkas, the Emerys in the first round at this point. They might feel like they can get one of those quality D in the second round, value-wise. But, man, a lot of decent forwards still in there, whether you're looking for a Greentree, Chernyshov, of course, if you're willing to take the risk of the Russian factor. But at a certain point, the value of those D just have to start weighing out. We see it every draft year that the defensive position is always more valuable. So we'll see if they start that run a little bit in these last handful of picks or not. Boy, I tell you what, if the Avs have Andrew Basha fall to 38, I would feel unbelievably good about it, but now I'm just wish casting, so maybe I shouldn't go any further on that path. Friend of the show, Rob Blake, there, getting ready to make his pick, it looks like. Tiff, how's the Baja Blast? I didn't get one.
It's pretty delicious. It's pretty good. Just try a sip of AJ's.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Definitely can't taste the alcohol.
No. It does taste like a sugar-free soda. Like,
Yep, that's exactly what it tastes like. I can smell the alcohol, kind of, but taste, no, not at all. Excuse me.
All right, they're interviewing this kid. Let's do a couple more super chats.
Oh, we have more?
We have a couple more, yeah.
Okay.
And AJ got through some too. So, $10 from Tyler, who says, "You guys can take off for a bit since nothing is going on. We won't blame you." Thank you. It wouldn't be very fun. We got to make sure everything stays updated. Bless you, Kale.
I did all this draft work. I got to talk about the prospects, even if the Avs don't pick them. So.
Yeah. And then we've got, let's see if this ever loads. $5 from Kyle. First draft I've ever watched, and Avs trade.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely doesn't have the excitement of actually making a pick. Thank you for all the super chats. We do appreciate y'all.
Super chats. We're at 235 likes.
Nice. Good job,
We're
team.
Kicking ass, taking names. The pick is in. Let's freaking do this.
Pick someone that I don't care about, because your new jerseys are really cool, and you're only allowed to have one cool thing at a time. That's the rules. Did I just make them up? Maybe. But at least I'm fast about it, unlike the NHL draft. All right. So they do go with Green Tree, arguably the top forward left on the board. Another pretty large-sized forward, if you're looking at that. You know, he does a lot of things well. Part of the reason I kind of shied away from him is he's one of those players that does everything pretty well, but nothing at a truly elite level, in my opinion. So you end up with those guys where if you do everything pretty well at the junior level, does it still look pretty well at the pro level? And if the answer is yes, great. You have a nice, well-rounded player that should fit into your middle six pretty easily. But if it only looks pretty well at the junior level and then sinks down to just okay at the pro level, all of a sudden, you're now going to find a player that's going to struggle a little bit. But a guy I think ends up being a really safe pick, particularly late in the first round. You're probably pretty likely to get some level of NHLer out of him. I'm just not sure if he can find an elite skill to really push him up as far as his ceiling is concerned at the NHL level. We'll see. As always, it's a pretty LA Kings pick. I think that's fair to say. Welcome back.
Green Tree a king? Good.
Yep.
Just burn that there.
Don't like it?
Green Tree sucks.
I don't know that I agree with that.
No, he's really good. I really like him a lot.
You probably like him more than I do.
Sure. He's fine.
That's what I would say as well. What is that Cardinals logo?
There's City Connect, I'm sure.
It's hideous.
Hideous.
Okay. Well, who's next? Carolina?
Yes? Question mark?
Man, does this feel like a
Yes.
Kiwi Hadu pick, huh?
Yep.
It'd be like classic Canes.
Man.
This thing is so big. Oh,
Giggity.
oh, Jesus.
I don't know what you guys were expecting.
I'm not bitching.
Yeah, I understood. It's just when you're drinking it, you're like, God, I've been drinking a lot of this, and
There's so much
It's still so much left.
there's so much to go. What's happening here?
5% too. These are a good little kick.
Yep.
Good Lord. Okay. Ooh, she winked at me.
All of that is what she said.
Sonos. Look, if I could just put on headphones and then just be that happy, I'd buy them.
I don't need the headphones, bro. Just make me that happy. Also, what hellscape is it where every person on the planet Earth is wearing these headphones?
I mean, the same hellscape where we're all walking around with tiny little computers in our pockets attached to them more than we are attached to the people around us every day.
Whoa,
I feel
whoa,
like
I did
there's a
not come here for
difference
this.
in level there. Like,
Not here for
like
that.
if you're on your cell phone and someone yells at you, you'll hear them. If you're wearing these bulky ass noise canceling headphones, nothing.
I think that was accidentally the best ad for them ever. I think I'm good.
All right, don't blame me when you walk out into the street and someone tries to stop you.
What? Why am I walking into the street? Why are people trying to stop me?
Because you're wearing
Somebody trying to stop
Because there's
What's happening? What have I
Cars
done?
coming and noise canceling headphones. Bam! It's over. You're done. Or you could have been not wearing headphones and someone could have said, "Look out!
Look out!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. When I fell off when I fell off an electric scooter the last time, because it's happened more than once, I was cruising and this dude walked out of like a very like archway sort of entity that had no windows. It was just like a complete blind spot, and he was looking down at his phone, and before I could even like muster the words like "look out" or like I was just like I smacked right into him. He was fine. I like am damaged. It's fine.
Rip.
Healing.
Yeah, I remember.
That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, and I remember the day after seeing you, and you were like so
fucked up.
banged up, and it was like, oh my God. And
that was
like,
my second accident in like a month. I was like, okay, I need a break from these things.
It was a classic, like, you should see the other guy, except you were the other guy. Like,
Yeah, the other guy was the pavement. Like,
yeah, like you were like the other dude was everybody was fine except for
Yeah.
me.
Well, our co-cast here gets to be excited now because Chicago is trading up with Carolina for this pick.
Stop getting to have all the fun.
I can't hear you.
That's okay. He did.
Yeah,
He did.
Lawrence
heard me.
heard you. That's all that matters.
At least someone up here on this floor is enjoying the picks.
Oh, man.
Chicago gets 27. They give up 34 and 50.
Okay. Repeat that for me.
27 for 34 and 50.
So they dropped 7 spots and only pick up a second.
Correct.
The Avs dropped 14 spots and picked up a third and an extra second.
Yeah, basically an extra third for 7 extra spots.
Man, I just more and more just feels like good value.
The value's fine. I don't think it's great value. I think it's fine.
I think my plans to go out tonight and have a good time are over because
Yeah,
I'm going to be grinding away at 2s and 3s.
Look,
There's a lot of 2s that I'm very comfortable with, especially at 38. They're not going to pick a guy that I'm
I told
unhappy
Chat
with.
about my dream already, all right?
Hit me.
38. Basha's still on the board.
Oh, yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
The rest of it, whatever.
Basha was one of the guys I talked about while you were gone.
Me too.
Nice. You guys are getting the same content. You just didn't know it. Chicago here.
Yep.
Chernyshov, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
they
They have the chance to take a swing too.
well,
for
and
sure.
and they took Sam Brunzell late in the first a couple years ago.
Yep.
You could see EJ Emery, Charlie Ellick here. Those two have always been inseparable with me when I'm trying to compare
Would you
it.
trade up from 34 to start the D run though? Because there's a bunch of Ds still there in that group.
That's a good question.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, chap.
I don't know that I would.
I'm saying.
Chernyshov would make sense
Is
here.
that
It's
not
just
a little
power forward.
horrifying?
It's
All right.
horrifying. It is horrifying. Yeah. No, it's horrifying.
Just a bunch
See,
of faces.
I think like a planetarium sort of thing at the Sphere would be like mind-boggling.
I'm sure that'd be sick.
But
Yeah.
that is just that's like
Just
that's
a bunch
weird.
of kids' faces staring at you, like.
Especially if
like,
you've smoked a bunch of weed
inverted.
before.
Yeah.
You're good and
As-
high for that planetarium experience.
Yeah.
You're going to leave Earth.
Leave Earth. All right, who the frick has the pick after this?
Calgary.
Calgary.
Love that for us. Okay.
Quick, you have to make a prediction. 1, 2, 3, go.
Right for this pick right
Yeah.
now. Chernyshov. I'm not making an interesting one.
Right or Richie?
Vaneker.
Ugh. All right, I'm cool with that.
Yep.
More and more of these dudes keep coming off the board that I just am like, cool.
Indifferent about.
Yeah, exactly.
It is starting to be a bit of a slide for Chernyshov.
Okay, so let's start to build a wish list here.
Okay.
You know, I could say Chernyshov at 38 tomorrow. I
I don't see him getting there.
Yeah, I'm not buying that it's happening, so I'll leave him off this list for now. But a couple of guys, we're 10 picks out.
Yep.
10, 11 picks out from when they're back on the clock again. It'll obviously be tomorrow, but priorities here, guys that you really like.
I mean, I already mentioned Basha.
Yeah, so Basha. So let's put Basha on the list for sure.
I'd say Alec, but I doubt he gets there. I think that D run probably rips off right at the start of the second round at
Same.
the latest, if not in these next like 5 picks.
Same.
Boy, you keep working backwards from there. It starts to get tough because what was
Ooh.
guys that certainly have holes in their game at the
Body
near the
skills.
end of the first start turning into guys that at least do one thing real well.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of gaps.
Yeah, or they turn into Badinkas where the upside isn't very high, but they're a jack of all trades, and it's fair to wonder, what is this guy as an NHLer?
And I'd be fine with Badinka. Like, if Badinka's the D left at the end of that D run at 38, I would be very happy.
I would take Badinka over Emery.
I don't
would
think Emery
take-
gets there anyway, but
I would
sure.
take Ellick.
I would take Alec over both for sure.
Yes.
I don't see him getting to 38, but
Since we're talking about defenders here, Cole Hudson?
sure. He isn't my personal favorite, but I totally get taking a chance like on a guy like that at 38.
Okay.
Makes sense. These last couple picks could really shape it out, though.
We're starting to get into real landmine territory, too,
Yeah.
where guys I really don't like,
Yep.
that I have problems with, are entering into this conversation. Ryder Ritchie, one of them. I don't like Ryder Ritchie.
Yeah, you have Adam Jecko in that range, too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that would be bad.
71. No.
If you take him at 71, I'd be less upset about it.
Emil Hemming, Leo Salin Wallenius. This is an anti-list here.
Do not take Wallenius. Hemming isn't great, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it, but
Hemming just reminds me so much of Oscar Olsson, and I don't want to go down that road again.
yeah. I wouldn't hate Kraken.
Yeah, Matvei Grichin is a guy I know they like, and I really liked when I watched him. Tanner Howe is another guy I really like out of Regina. Whoa, power boy. Big fan.
Okay, so this is driving me insane.
Okay.
Did they just fuck up their graphics with this little half of a logo that shows up here every time?
Uh-huh.
That's awful. I hate it.
Makes me feel better.
Okay.
Every time I read a story on ESPN, I'm like, see, they don't have editors either.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm like, this dude accidentally triple spaced after this sentence, and you just have a big old bloop right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
Right?
It's I'm anticipating pause.
Yeah.
In the telling the storytelling there. No.
Are you a Sam O'Reilly truther, AJ?
I am a Sam O'Reilly is vanilla pudding.
He's a hockey player in this draft.
It's
to be certain.
He's fine.
Yeah. Ooh. Is that dude wearing socks?
Are any of them?
It's fair point.
Honestly, this took all the wind out of my sails.
Totally.
I'm bored now.
This was the part of the show.
I'm annoyed.
This was the part of the show where I thought we'd be deep diving in Avs prospect.
Yeah.
Now we're just kind of like,
We'd be talking about timelines. We'd be talking about and now we're just like, well, we got to wait 5 more picks to wait 5 more picks.
Yep.
It's like going to an airport, man. All we're doing is sitting in fucking line here.
Hey, we did that today.
So done with
Gonna
this.
do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, but yeah.
The Avs trade the 38th tomorrow. I'm walking off the watch. Just getting off the show. We're done. Unless it's for a player, then that's a different story. But
Yeah, what does this recap show turn into?
The interviews that we got today.
Fair enough.
that's true.
There's just not a lot to say about the trade back with nothing else happening yet.
Yep. The payoff just hasn't hit yet.
So this is the eating an edibles version of the NHL draft?
No, I'll tell you what we
delayed release here.
What we can talk about. You know what this part of the draft feels like?
There that goes.
Nah, great. Awesome. Love that. Greedon going to Calgary at pick 28.
I don't like that pick for them. That's earlier than I'm comfortable with the region.
Yeah.
34-ish is probably where I would have
think
really.
he should have been a first.
Oh,
Yeah.
Teddy Stiga. We totally forgot about Teddy Stiga.
Stiga at 38 for sure.
That's a lot. I'm so much more comfortable with Teddy Stiga at 38 than I was at 24.
For sure. But you know what this draft feels like right now?
God, is this going to be a read?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone?
No, sorry. No. I don't.
It's okay.
What does it feel like?
This draft, after a trade like that, it kind of feels like an unshaved nutsack.
Yeah, I grabbed that.
Smooth sack summer, baby.
Yeah. The Avs smooth sacked summer their way to extra picks. So,
Gross.
if you're taking extra picks of your fellas, make sure you get Manscaped.
Fellas. Oh, no. I hate it. I hate it all.
Use code DNVR20 over at manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping on their new Ultra Performance Package 5.0. Comes with the new lawnmower trimmer, as well as a bunch of other tools, whatever you want to get thrown in, whether it be the nose hair trimmer, deodorant, toner, all sorts of other products, top to bottom. They've got soap for your head. They've got soap for your body. They've got all sorts of soaps for your boys. You choose what you need from Manscaped. Go get with them today. Again, be sure.
You're trying to be less of a hairy daddo.
You heard it here first. DNVR Avalanche podcast. No hairy daddos out there. all
Less
right?
hairy daddos.
None.
Not no hairy.
None.
I will not stop making dragon jokes until there are no hairy daddos.
Hairy daddos.
Of course, go over to manscaped.com. Use code DNVR20. Get in. Or rather, I'm using the old code. It's code AVS. Use code AVS, not DNVR20, to get your 20% off and free shipping. Get that smooth sack going for smooth sack summer. All right, well, we got that in at least.
Whoa.
Sick. Yeah, I guess this opens up goalies tomorrow, doesn't it? At 71.
I refuse.
Okay.
I will be looking up 0 goalies tonight.
The guy that plays at Omaha. Done. The next Nabokov. Done.
Sure.
You guys are welcome. Yeah, is it kind of a surprise? Nothing on the Rutger McGroarty front?
Nothing really on any of the player
Is
trade fronts.
Winnipeg going to get, like, stubborn about this?
Just refuse.
Yeah. Or the
Maybe.
Avs going to move those 2 seconds now for Rutger McGroarty? Nah.
Sounds like something Winnipeg would do, to be honest.
Took Billy Hannah off their hands.
Sure. Done.
Morphin Friends. Morphin Friends sounds like...
Orphan.
Yeah, like I'm a Power Ranger, yeah.
Oh, he was out for sure.
Did you guys ever see, like, the most
Gets him on the
recent
helmet.
Power Rangers movie?
Yeah, I loved it.
With the
It's
hair,
so
rather.
good.
I
for
loved
no
it.
reason. It has no business being as good as it is.
No one went to watch it in theaters, but like very good movie.
Yeah.
That... It had 2 scenes. Like, you wait all movie for the theme song, and then when they all get into the...
Yeah.
Whatever those things... I cannot remember. It's been... Yeah,
Zords.
that's it. They get into the Zords, and the theme song kicks up, and all of a sudden I was like, all right, that's it. I'm running through a wall. I'm running through a wall.
Through a wall.
This is it.
God, that movie was good. Had no business being that good.
I felt that way about Top Gun Maverick, where I started watching it and was like, this is going to be bullshit. And I'm watching it. I'm like 20 minutes in. I'm like, this rules. And it just kept getting better and better and better. I'm like, oh. Tom Cruise does it again.
Tom
Weirdo.
Cruise does it again.
Hey, we're somewhere in that shot.
Yeah, we are.
Woo!
All right, Dallas, pick a bum. And then New York can pick a bum. And then Toronto can pick a bum.
Bums, bums, bums.
Bums, bums, bums.
Leave all the
bums.
non-bums for pick 38.
Hell yeah.
Damn, bro. I really got up at 4 a.m. to cast an entire draft for the Avs and not make a pick.
Dude. 4 a.m. You got up earlier than that.
You're right. It was more like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Dallas Stars pick is in. And there goes Emil Hemming.
All right, so I'm probably wrong about Hemming. The organization that gets everything right takes a guy.
No, they're going to get this one wrong.
It's true. I mean, no team continues this.
Unless they have a time machine.
He is. That'd be so cheat holy.
How bad do you have to be to have a time machine and you still can't win a Stanley Cup?
Fair point. Fair point. Well played, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Emil Hemming, Dallas Star. Next pain in our ass.
Yeah, no doubt.
What is happening? Have they had the showgirl taking player jackets this whole time?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Really? I haven't noticed.
Yeah,
either.
no.
I hadn't noticed it at
they
all.
were there for the very first one. Celebrini getting his jacket taken off by a showgirl.
Crazy. Whatever. It's Vegas.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, it tracks, but weird.
Is this just getting Miro Heiskanen another friend?
Morphin friends.
Yeah.
Morphin friends.
Yeah, if they're going to lose Yanni Hakanpää,
Yeah.
they need to one fin out, one fin in.
If you get enough fins, do they actually just morph together into a fin Zord or what? How does that work?
Finish Zord.
I wonder.
Don't know.
Do you think with the diverse nationalities of the Avalanche, they could be Captain Planet? I know that's not what that show was about. I know that was about like recycling and shit, but
No.
no.
They can't be Captain Planet.
All right.
They're missing at
they-
least 2 to become Captain Planet.
They need two more fins.
Asia needs more coverage.
What? No.
Yes.
No.
Did you ever
I'm just
watch
saying
Captain
no.
Planet?
Yes. I'm just ignoring it.
Good.
I'm going to lose it, dude. I'm going to lose it.
Genuinely just like pure exhaustion, pure boredom.
We are. I have been awake since 2 o'clock in the morning.
4 hours and nothing of relevance.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder who the most diverse NHL team is. I bet it's not the Avs. I bet there's someone more diverse.
Yeah, who's Captain Planet then?
Well, I don't. Does any team have an Asian player?
Dallas.
But he's not from Asia.
So?
Come on.
Jeez, man. We're
I
really
guess
getting
I
picky
guess you
here.
at least have the descent there. But the other
Yes.
problem is the Captain Planet team also had an Indian guy, and there's no Indian. And I mean, I guess there's one. Arshdeep is in the NHL.
We made it through Trevor Connolly, and this is where we're going to go off the rails?
So I guess it has to be Vancouver because they have the Indian guy. They're Captain Planet. Problem solved.
Great.
I hate this. I don't like this at all.
I don't like this at all.
This is. I regret this path that I have brought us down.
Totally unrelated to that conversation, but the other cartoon that would be on with Captain Planet was the one with like the Wonder Twins.
Oh, I don't think I'm familiar with
I don't know.
this.
It was 2 twins that they like could form up and combine into like any
What?
object. It was not a good show. I'm not trying to recommend it to anyone, but
The television show?
yeah, cartoon television
Oh,
show.
cartoon. Okay.
And they would like it would be like the dumbest things imagine. Like there would be a fire and the twins would like form up into a bucket of water so they could put out the fire.
Was this a PBS?
This sounds awesome.
No. It would, whatever Captain Planet was on at the time. I think it was Cartoon Network, but I'm not
Oh,
100%
man.
sure.
Genuinely, I have no idea.
I have no idea what channel that is.
Someone in
what
chat will
network?
know.
What
Someone-
network? Captain? Yeah, I love Captain Planet. I have no clue.
That
Someone
was-
in chat will
that
know
was
for
definitely
sure.
Cartoon Network.
Let me look.
I love that this is what this is. turned
I mean,
into.
what are we going to talk? They haven't made a pick.
Yeah, the
I know, like genuinely.
Rangers have been on the clock for 8 minutes.
TBS. It's a TBS.
TBS,
That
Jesus.
doesn't sound right.
Really?
Well, so TBS is owned by Warner.
There were also like 3
So-
different versions of Captain Planet too. Like it was
The
weird.
actual original airing of the show went from 1990 to 1996. Then it played on in syndication to like 2005.
On TBS?
It's literally called The Wonder Twins.
Was it on Disney Normal when we were kids then?
I don't think so.
Disney Normal?
Because I don't think XD was a thing when I
No,
was young.
I don't know about you guys, but I grew up on Disney Normal.
Disney Normal.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, Dwayne said Wonder Twins was Super Friends, early 80s.
Okay, I compared EJ Emery to Keandre Miller, and the Rangers just took him. A little
Yep.
on the
Oh,
nose.
man.
Yep.
Sorry.
I don't think
It's
he
fine.
has as much offensive upside, but
I agree.
hey, look, that means Alec is still on the board for one more pick. So
Toronto and Philly. Philly's going to take Sam O'Reilly, so I don't have to worry about it. Toronto's going to take Chernyshov.
look, I'm good. Alec can go. Badinka can go.
Shut the fuck up.
Kiviharu can go.
You can go. You're going to act like this.
I'm forming a list that gets Basha to 38. That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so anybody but Basha can go, and then we get to 38.
Trying to be realistic here.
Watch him take a goalie. We're all just going to look at each other and be like,
If they take
all right.
if they take a goalie on 38, we're done. No watch along, no draft recap
What's
show.
worse,
God.
a goalie or Adam Jacko?
Oh, Adam Jacko.
Yeah, I agree. So, any other shows we liked as kids?
I mean, I liked a lot of shows as kids.
Every time I even remotely try to bring up something I watched, you
Yeah,
both
it's
look at me
true.
like I'm fucking
You're a baby,
15. I'm 28.
little child. You like shows my sister liked.
There's a little Mike Gundy over there. So, I'm a man, I'm 40. Tiff's like, I'm an adult, I'm 28. Jeez, all right, we get it.
What would have your shows like? I'm trying to think of ones. Like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody would have been probably about.
Yes, I wasn't much of a Disney Channel kid though. I was a Cartoon Network kid for sure. So
You mentioned Kim Possible to me the other day, and I just looked at you.
I mentioned That's So Raven actually
Oh.
is what I mentioned.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think Impossible holds up pretty well. That's So Raven is terrible.
And I don't see your point.
Were any of them even good?
no, not.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like what do we?
You're like throwing
At least-
stones
At
here.
least That's So Raven had like episodes about racism and smoking.
Were you old
Wow,
enough for
that-
Phil of the Future?
Two very on the same level.
They were
Smoking
informative.
and racism.
They were informative.
You definitely weren't old enough for Lizzie McGuire, I don't think.
Yeah, it wasn't really my.
Were you guys at the office the other day when Allie walked out of her office with Marissa and was like, don't mind us, just listening to Hillary Duff's first album in
Oh,
here.
I love Hillary Duff's first album.
And I was like, this is the weirdest
Dude, that
office,
shit
dude.
came on my Spotify the other day. Not even lying.
I almost jokingly went to go
Why?
see Jesse McCartney
did.
in concert the other week. That would have been fun.
Oh,
He's still doing Carl?
He's still doing concerts. He still tours.
not Lizzie
Plugging away, old
McGuire.
Jesse.
I know.
They came on my Spotify because I looked up this one song from the Disney Channel that, like, you have to have brain rot to know what I'm talking about. But it was by a band called Element, LMNT, and it's called Hey Juliet.
Nope.
Yeah, brain
I-
rot.
you know-
big time brain rot.
I wonder if I'd recognize it if I heard it where I'd be like, oh.
Oh. Publish.
There's no way Melvin Fernstrom is a real name. That sounds like a mailman. Melvin the mailman. Cool for EJ Emery.
Yeah, he gets to be a first rounder.
Yeah.
Ryan Bork would be proud.
How stressed do you think these guys are knowing there's only 2 of these things left and they're sitting there like, especially a guy like Chernyshov, there's no good reason this is happening that we know of. Maybe there was a medical at Combine, whatever. Something had to be up, but just from a hockey perspective, there's no way Igor Chernyshov should still be sitting on this board. He is, right?
Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's been the top guy for like 8 picks.
Yeah.
Those pants are too short for him. You're right, Chat. He just wants to show off the socks, which are also weird.
Oh, are we talking about
Yeah.
EJ or his dad?
No, EJ's.
I was like, they're both too short.
I mean, his dads are basically shorts at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
At least his dads, I think they're like meant to be that way. He just looks like he like grew 4 inches overnight. He's like, oh man, my pants are too short. Dress capris. Yeah, absolutely, Andrew.
Ew.
yeah, the original
This is
Space
kind of a
Coast Coast to Coast
disaster.
was great. Confirmed. Agreed.
Oh, I agree. That was
Yeah.
my first talk show.
We're almost there.
Just hanging out.
Almost there, so we can go do a whole nother
I
show.
know. I know.
Hanging out. At least we won't be talking about
I need a
Captain
snack.
Planet and shit. Like,
True.
oh yeah, there's definitely going to be.
Yeah, we'll have like 30 minutes off. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and Eric's probably going to need to. That's it. I'm only texting bleh to anybody else who texts me right now.
The only one of those shows I know is
Auto
Pete and
response.
Pete. And it wasn't that good.
I really overrated.
Yeah.
Pick is in.
Let's go, Toronto. Pick a bum.
This is Chernishev. This is not
It's
Chernishev.
Ben Danford.
I really thought he was more of a second-round guy. He really didn't do it for me.
Pretty weird pick with guys like Emery and Badinka still on the board, but
This is going to be personal flavor, you know?
yeah. The Toronto Maple Leafs wanted an OHL guy.
Yeah, they traded down from 23 and got an extra second-round pick and took him at 31. So now they get 2 second-round picks. Math.
Easy dollars.
Man, I don't think we even have a card for homie.
We don't.
Who
Was that-
is he?
Who? Yeah. Do we ever get an answer to this trivia question I got asked?
Oh, I don't know.
What trivia
Oh.
question?
There have been 10.
There have been 10 Avs in the Hall of Fame. Which one played the least amount of games for the Avs?
Yeah.
Flurry.
Oh, shit. I said Yari Curry.
That's a good guess too.
I mean,
Is
Dale Hunter played a decent number,
Is
right?
Andrew Chuck in the Hall of Fame? Does he count?
Oh, he did get in. These are all really limited number. Are we counting playoff games?
Well, yeah, that makes it way harder.
I don't know. Dean had to like have a life or something, so he's gone.
Rude.
Imagine having a life, not sitting here watching a round where the Avs aren't even going to pick.
Rude. I did like the super chat from somebody who said the first time I've ever watched the draft and the Avs trade the pick.
Bum.
I mean, I like that in like a
Welcome to
That-
sports fandom,
Yeah.
big dog.
that sucks kind of way, yeah. Oh, Yuri Curry played 70 games for the Avs?
Damn.
I thought he was... Okay. Well, that's not going to be the right answer. I'm not looking this up on my own. You asked me the question.
Chat's saying it's Andrew Chuck.
So
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to look back. Dean said hint not Curry or Bork. Hint his number is not in the rafters.
Yeah, obviously.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
All right. Andrew Chuck makes sense. He only played 14 games.
There sounds like the. Oh, I know that's from what's his face.
Oh, we need this to end. My knees are really...
Only one more pick, buddy.
Yeah, I just need to... I went to the
Stretching.
bathroom, but yeah, I need to like walk around a little bit.
Yeah, I
I'm
need
a
to
little
go
cooped
get
up.
a drink.
I'm a little cooped up. And I'm getting hungry. It's been a long time since we had lunch.
Yeah, it's all adding up quick.
Lunch was 8 hours ago.
I loaded on breakfast, kind of figuring we would not like have time.
Yeah, I had a really light breakfast. I was
Those,
like, it was very chill with it.
Those breakfast potatoes were delicious.
They were good, actually. And then we went a little hard with lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys go to lunch?
Yeah.
I took a nap.
Nope.
So you guys got food, I got sleep.
Yeah.
Ha!
Yeah, we went to Fogo de Chao.
Ooh.
It was interesting.
I was telling Megan there is a taco place pretty close to our hotel. Serves till 4 in the morning.
Oh.
Like, hell yeah.
Oh.
One of you should just go crash CHGO real quick.
Do I have to?
Yeah, we don't have anything to say. There's nothing fun to. I mean, we can ask him about Captain Planet
Yeah.
or Power Rangers.
Just be like, so, did you guys have a fun time? Did you guys have a fun day?
What's having picks like?
Yeah, they had 3 first rounders. Yeah, they don't even. There's nothing to. I don't even have a story to write or anything.
Why did their All City Connect jerseys say the toilet on them?
What?
Their ALLCITY Connect jerseys just say the Lou.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice. I mean, have you been to St. Louis? It's a little. The self-awareness is impressive.
Maybe 2 on the nose.
All right, I'm guessing Sam O'Reilly here.
You think so?
I guess CHGO and Philly are actually still talking about
You don't
hockey.
think they're
I love
like,
that for them.
let's get Michkov a buddy and take Chernyshov?
Look at Danny Briere, smug
He's
asshole.
smiling about something, yeah.
He gets to have all the fun. Should have taken Zeev.
Shoulda.
Jet Luchanko, man. Oh shit! Who do the Rockies DFA today?
I don't know.
Please be Tyler Kinley.
Rockies news. What?
Yeah, I'm about to look that shit up.
The guy with a 12 ERA?
Dude, he's so bad.
The Flyers should just hold this pick hostage.
We're not picking.
Can't start the second round if the first round doesn't end.
My favorite thing
Whoa.
currently happening is seeing the Phillies producer just be like, I'm also annoyed, guys.
What?
What?
What happened? They get rid of what's-his-face?
The Rockies DFA'd Alan Trejo?
Okay.
And they called up Riley Pint and Aaron Schunk? It's been a long time coming for Aaron Schunk, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to call up a third baseman
Oh.
from Georgia as they get ready to take a third baseman from Georgia in the draft in a month?
Trade alert!
Trade alert. Oh, man.
Philly traded the pick to Edmonton.
You sons of bitches. Well, they were really determined to get that 32nd pick. See, we won. We won. We won.
We had the 32nd pick.
That's why he was looking like a smug asshole. He knows what he did.
Edmonton just gave them something stupid for this.
He's like, they don't have a GM anymore.
Philly gets a first rounder for the 32nd pick?
This is what happens when you take advantage. Everybody.
Edmonton, man, what are you doing?
Oh, my God.
This is Megan's
Oilers. This is a classic Oilers.
no parents, no rules behavior right here.
This is such classic Oilers. Son of a bitch.
Crazy.
How desperate did they have to be?
How much mushrooms did he do?
Oh, dude, I wish I was doing mushrooms.
I don't.
Yeah, if we were going to do mushrooms, we need to do it before this.
Not to do drugs, kids, but every time I've done mushrooms, it's made the day last feels like way fucking longer.
I have no experience with mushrooms. It's one of my blind spots.
The only time I've ever tried them, they didn't work. So, love that for me.
Yeah, that sucks.
That sucks, yeah.
Yo, mushrooms are legalized here. We can walk down to Fremont Street and buy them off in the store.
Hell yeah. Then YouTube
Should we
can't
do-
ban us.
should
We're
we do,
good.
we do the show tomorrow on mushrooms?
In bed.
Should we have this conversation on air?
Yes.
Now, no matter what we do, people are going to think we're on mushrooms tomorrow.
No matter what we do.
You can literally buy them from kiosks off Fremont Street. It's fucking
Don't tell me that, Kale.
All right, guys, we're doing mushrooms tonight.
Look, it's Dwayne. Dwayne wants to pop in and said this draft is on shrooms. Thanks, Dwayne.
It's on something.
How does he feel about E.J. Emery?
Dwayne, how do you feel about EJ Emery? Tell
He
us
is
in the chat.
Local Rangers fan.
Call in live.
Call
Hang
in
out.
live.
Hang out with us.
That's
Those were portabellas.
insane.
I freaking bet. I like genuinely like. I don't know if my parents are listening, so I am not going to divulge how many I did, but they didn't work.
All right, Edmonton. Well, is that mic moving on its own?
Dude, that's Rick Pracey.
It is. The pick for Edmonton to finish off the round is Sam O'Reilly.
Well,
What the fuck, dude?
Oh my god. What
How many
the
of these did I
hell?
get right
At least
today?
like 7 or 8. Like,
AJ Cooks.
What was this draft?
You should start making bets on the draft.
Oh my God. What a day it's been.
Do I don't have a card for Sam.
No, you
either.
don't.
No, Sam O'Reilly.
Wow.
So I didn't think I'd have to worry about that shit.
Well, on that note, if you're as mentally broken as I am on today, you might need BetterHelp.
Nice.
Go get with BetterHelp.
Well played.
It's the easiest way to get out there and get some therapy. It's entirely online, and there's not long wait times. You can get with a therapist within a week. Just fill out a brief questionnaire at BetterHelp.com, and they'll hook you up with a therapist, which, if you don't like them, you can always switch. You can switch at any time when it comes to BetterHelp. They're just out here trying to get people healthier on the mental side of things. So get with them and become your own soulmate over at BetterHelp.com. Of course, when you do go over there, be sure to let them know DNVR sent you over there by going to BetterHelp.com/DNVR to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com, HELPhelp.com/DNVR. Okay, the first round is over.
We are getting a report from the arena. Should be any minute now. Or from the Sphere.
We are.
Just messaged us.
Is that going on this, or is that going on our recap show?
Recap show.
I mean,
Your recap show. Yeah, so they talked with MacFarland.
Yeah.
Cool.
Should be any minute now. So, just probably wait for that. And then
All right. I can sit here and
Yeah,
lose my
we'll do
mind
that
for
real
another
quick.
10 minutes. We're good.
I'll
They should start a clock. San Jose should have like 16 hours on their clock.
That'd actually be pretty
16 hours
funny.
and 5 minutes.
That would actually be pretty funny.
I guess it'd really only be like 12 hours. Yeah.
Oh.
What a catch.
That's a 1-0 game, by the way.
Who do we got?
I don't like
Dwayne is very excited about what's his face.
EJ Emery.
Go listen to our show with Ryan Bork and get even more excited about it.
Get really excited for Teddy Stiga tomorrow. They were going to say Stiga. There you go.
No, if I'm doing that, I'm going, Andrew. Basha. Totally unrelated, but does Arenado suck now?
He's aged quickly.
Yeah.
That's a really polite way to put that.
He's aged quickly. Aw.
Damn, nice catch. So baseball.
Baseball.
Pretty
it's
sick.
A sport.
Pretty sick sport.
Did we talk about Shady Rays?
No. The future is way brighter now. As it turns out, the Avs made no picks today to make their future brighter. With a pick in the second round, and a pick in next year's second round, and a pick in the third round. I mean, if that's not a bright future, I don't know what is. So make sure when you're looking into the bright future, you wear your Shady Rays. You can get over with Shady Rays at ShadyRays.com. They're offering any pair of polarized sunglasses for 35% off for the summer when you use code DNVR. So jump on with them. Join the sunglasses, given 5 stars by over 300,000 people. At ShadyRays.com. And the best part is, first 30 days, you lose them, don't like them, or break them, they'll replace them entirely for free. That's just a great deal all the way around. Code DNVR at Manscaped.com for 35% off. All right.
Cool.
It was a draft day of all time. That did happen. I can confidently say these things. What can I say about the Avs prospect pool?
It hasn't changed.
Nothing. Is someone keeping tabs on Eric also?
He said he texted a little bit ago, saying he was on his way.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Not since then.
Okay.
Are we sure we need to continue to stay live for this? We can't just pre-record this or something and put it on the recap show? It just seems like a waste of this to put this at the end of this watch along, you know?
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense to put it on our post thing, I would say. Should we just do that?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Let's just do that.
Cool.
Chat, we appreciate you hanging out for all the live nonsense. We are doing a recap show where we'll talk about all the draft things, probably mostly the trades. And join us for that in maybe 30 minutes or so. We'll be live again talking about it. So we'll see you then. And, of course, we'll be back to tell you that the Avs didn't do anything. So we'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.